Welcome to a new episode of DLC Required. We have
Hi.
Hawkinaround this week as I just tell you what we're talking about, pretending like I do any kind of intro. It's a fun time. Have fun with that one.
Yeah.
Drag me for it later. But no, Hawkin had been trying to schedule with me for a while, and my ADHD brain was like, yes, look at you schedule and life. And so when we finally did, they were just like, oh my God, no, like I had to listen to all the episodes and I want to play Cyberpunk because I want to talk about Cyberpunk. I'm like, oh my God,
Yeah.
you did homework for the like it was so
Of course.
it was so
Of
good.
course.
Made me
I
so I feel
was
good.
that's part of how like I enjoy connecting to people, and I only do it with like I enjoy if I find like a person that I want to be friends with or am friends with, and I find something that they really like and they really enjoy, I dive into that. That's what I do. It's how I got into My Hero Academia. It's how I got into JoJo. I actually like did a season back and forth between the two to
Hell
catch up
yeah.
all the way. Because doing one show for multiple seasons in a row will bother me
Yeah.
because it'll just burn me out. But if I don't
Especially
do a
when there's a
whole season at
lot
a
to catch up
time,
on. Like, yeah,
yeah.
it's a lot.
Well, because there was, I want to say like 5 seasons of each at that point in time. So, um, so I went back and forth because the one for My Hero was for my really good friend Erica, who you might actually get to meet at PAX if
Oh
I
hell
get her to come
yeah.
with me.
Hell yeah.
Um, and then the other one was for a romantic interest at the
I
time.
love that's a whole mood.
Which did not pan out. However, the show was fantastic.
Me with Cowboy Bebop. I watched Cowboy
Oh,
Bebop because of a gentleman is a generous word for it that I was
yeah.
seeing at the time about 10 years ago, 11 years ago. And he was like, you haven't seen this? And I was like, no. And
No.
it was one of those, and it had to be like, he ended up doing dub. He wasn't like one of the like sub guys, so I went back and watched it sub later. Because I didn't want to know, but watched it. And it's one of those things where I was like, yeah, this is an interest. And then by then I was like, get this is mine, get away. And so breakup of all the things, I was like, no, this I'm keeping this. You can't ruin me. You can't take this away from me. I am Faye Valentine, bitch. Like
Yes.
it was very much
Yes.
those
Uh,
happen. Which if you relate to any of
so
this, neurodivergent friends bonding at their finest. That's what that
oh
is.
yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
it's
yeah.
I found a thing that you're passionate about. So I learned about that thing so that I could hear when you talk about that thing so that I can talk about that thing when you talk about it so I can see you excited about the thing.
It's so good. It's the most
It's
pure
yeah.
form of like just like bonding. I love it. It's why just
Huh.
nerd conventions and stuff in spaces, even if it's like not my niche, like the moment someone recognizes something, it's just such a pure energy of wanting to bond about it. And it's
Yeah.
my fave. And I think that's a very common experience with like gamers and, just fandom people in general is that growing up on the internet, uh it's different now. I feel like growing up because everyone is on social, so people don't really go, "Oh, you're internet friends." But like there was a
Mm.
lot of stigma about it growing up. But like those are where you
Oh
found the
yeah.
people who gave a fuck about anything you cared about. Like you go to school, I'd be like, "Who watched X Files last night?" No one is gonna fucking talk to
No.
me. Like
No.
no, it's the other crazy
You get
15-year-old who's just like rapping about Skolder Molly, like Skolder Molly. I need my meds today. I just jumped the ship. Double shipped.
I specifically took my meds at
I
3
took mine
o'clock.
late too.
Oh no, I took mine well, late, quote unquote. I took
Yeah.
mine at 3 o'clock, knowing that I'd start drinking at 5 so that they wouldn't interfere with one another.
I literally, so I have one dose left in my XR. I need to go pick up. I'm supposed to go do it in the morning, and I was just like, they're closed on Sunday, but I have to go far away for it. It's like LA far. It's like it's on the
Yeah.
fucking west
It's like
side, and it's just
it's
like
10 miles, but it's 30 minutes because of being
and
in
that's
LA.
being
Yep.
lucky. And so it's like an hour and a half,
Yep.
2 hour trip I have to plan to like deal and go in there and it's a whole thing. And so I hate it, but like all the pharmacies around me are usually out of stock because they're like Walgreens stuff. So I go to like this family pharmacy that usually has it, but I'm trying to move it closer. But either way, I realized I had one left of my XR, and it's only because I forgot to take it when I was leaving the house for D&D the other day. So I have a
Yeah.
supplemental IR that I take like PMS or afternoons or like anything like that when you need the extra little bump when the XR is wearing off. And today I was like, no, save it for tomorrow because you'll need that to go. You need the meds to go get the meds if that's what you're gonna do. But then also
Yeah.
you've not touched this bottle of 10 this month because you keep forgetting you have it because it's out of sight. And so take that. And I was like, why am I so groggy all day? And then around 1, I'm like, you need to record later. Let's take 2 of these. Like
Yeah.
let's take them today. And so it was one of those, we're gonna have any
Mm.
brain functioning. And then I say things like
Oh
Mulder and
yeah.
Scully. From last time I recorded, this was still here.
Yes.
Still here without the lid too. I also have a Chick-fil-A cup from earlier this week that is sitting right here that still has a little bit of tea because I forgot it existed because I can't see into it. And so it sits there.
Yeah.
And then I have this glass still sitting here from the hunt.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that glass. I went with the desk mat.
Nice.
I haven't
have the
put it
desk
up
mat
yet
too.
'cause I still need to clean.
It looks so
my
good.
desk is a disaster.
No,
Fuck.
same. I swap mine out just to like see how like I love it.
It's weird. So like, so first off, I have 3 beverages pretty much at all times.
Oh yeah, you need the fun one, the go-go one, and then like the water, the
Water.
hydration one. Yeah.
Water, caffeine,
Go-go, yeah.
coffee, legitimately coffee. Which is more sleep to be honest.
Yeah, honestly, brain go-go, but you sleep. It's like the relaxed kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It calms the voices.
Dude, it does. People
Not
don't get
actual
it.
voices, but you know what I mean.
I know this podcast won't seem like it because I just did a bunch of Rogue Energy and going to be like this, and people won't believe it. But caffeine genuinely, that's why people self-medicate with it without knowing, is that it just makes everything like contain. You're able to function.
That's what I did. So I was up in Seattle the other weekend with a friend of mine, and I forgot to take my Adderall that morning, like in the time that I expected to. But we were going out and going to a few shops. So I went to a little coffee shop that was on that street there and just ordered a latte with an extra shot in it. And
did they look at you like you're fucking crazy?
Oh, nah.
I mean,
over here, like, people love coffee. So,
oh, no, for sure. When I lived in Portland, it wasn't a big deal. Like, down here, I know when it's like whatever. But before, granted, it is a lot of caffeine. Before I was medicated and diagnosed, like, I didn't realize how much I knew caffeine made me function, but I did not in the way where people are like, oh, my caffeine in the morning, I have my coffee, I'm gonna go, right? Like, it was just something I needed to sustain through the day. And before work, I would stop, because when I actually worked in a physical location before COVID, and I would stop and get 2 of the like A-Shock, like the 300 milligrams each energy drinks, and take them to work. And then I would walk over to Starbucks when I got there, get my coffee that I actually drink through the day, and then I'd have like sippy. But then all the people at work, because I was like running the desk, would like come. I was like managing the space, so I would like control their schedules a little bit, so that if they wanted to leave early or something, like they would bring me coffee. And so I would just have tons of coffee throughout the day. But I would go start my day with the barista. I'd be like, can I get like a venti cold brew, and can I get 4 extra shot or 4 shots in it? And they're like, are you okay? Because I would do it every day. And I'm like, I need to be able to think and count money. Like, this is where I'm at. Now I don't do that since, medicated, but it's fine.
Yeah, meds have been like a huge fucking game changer.
Oh
like,
my God,
I didn't know that I had ADHD until within the last year. I was not diagnosed until then.
Dude.
And all of my friends around me, the moment I said it, was like, yeah, no shit. And I was like, then why didn't you fucking tell me? Like,
yeah, literally.
I'm the last one to know. But so when I went to I did Starbucks for a while because I lived in like Colorado, and that was the most like prominent. I no longer do Starbucks because there's so many other options.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's the ease of convenience around it, and the loyalty program. When you really have like a Dutch Bros easy to you, that's all you go to. Like, it's like it goes to. I'm so jealous. There's someone close. I love it so much.
I do either the double torture or the golden eagle freeze with an extra shot. But my Starbucks order would be a grande white chocolate mocha frappuccino with 3 shots and extra whipped cream in a venti cup.
Fuck yeah.
And the venti cup was specifically because, number 1, it gives some space for the extra whip, which changes the consistency of the frappuccino. Oh, absolutely. And 2, because when you get it in an extra cup, when they add the extra shots in it, they give you the extra volume that the shots add to it. Because normally they'd have to just toss it. So like getting that extra cup gives you more space for it.
That is so really, no, it's the same as getting like the light ice, which they're not like charging you because they like what it's so dumb. But like it 100% is it's a formula, it's a system. And I don't even feel like I'm in difficult, because I used to like be a barista. So it's like I seem difficult, and I'm usually, if they make my coffee wrong, but I'm going to tell them kind of thing. Yeah, no. But nope, not my.
I would rather
telepath's coffee's wrong. No, I will go politely give a redo. Me, nope. Even if I'm an iced coffee bitch, unless I'm like making it at home or like I'm sitting like it's at night. But if I'm ordering it through the day, if I'm running out, iced coffee. Like give me my iced coffee. If they make it high, I'm not gonna go to them and be like, it says iced. Like, I'm not gonna do it. Will not do it.
I'll drink it. It's mine now. Like, this is what I'm stuck with.
This is what I'm doing, and it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be great. It's still coffee. It's gonna do the same thing. It's gonna be fantastic. But no, when I go, I'll be like, what is the easiest thing in the world right now that I'm looking at? Like, what is the quickest thing in here? And then half the time I'll be like stuck in the corner while they're doing all the other stuff. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, all you had to, it's a nitro cold brew. And I'm sitting there like waiting for them to just fill a cup. And I'm like, I feel bad asking, like, but like caffeine, please. So
Yes.
no, but no, Dutch Bro slaps, Heat
Nitro
slaps.
Cold
It's
Brew
so good.
so
Nitro
much.
cold brew is so good.
So
So
my
fucking
first
good.
experience with Nitro Cold Brew was at a small place called Two Rivers in Arvada, Colorado, and I will fucking name it. It's not the same name of the coffee joint anymore. The guy who owned it, which I knew personally, no longer owns it. He sold it
Yeah.
off. But at the time, he owned it, and he had a coffee bean farm in the Rocky Mountains, like 14,500 feet, like
Yo.
crazy, crazy good coffee. And so he had those beans that were specifically small batch roasted in house. Like you could see, like there was a window section that you could see where it was being roasted and everything. And he was the first person I ever saw to have nitro cold brew. And I was like, what is this? I love iced coffee. Please give. And I tried
Absolutely.
it and just fell in love. It's the texture of the coffee.
It's
I'm like
when people say drinks are smooth and like creamy, like it's a different thing in my head. Something about nitro cold brew. Yeah, it's like the people who say that drinks don't have textures are not autistic enough. Like, let me just say,
yeah.
like, there's just like not you like there needs
You
to be
need
a
to add
little
just a touch of the tism.
a
Just
touch of the tism because I'm like I need people. We were having a debate and I don't remember if you were here for this. It was during you may have been streaming. It was during the hunt and because I was like really sick, right? And I mentioned something ginger ale, Sprite was too sweet, whatever. Vocal assassin had come in and just been like Sprite tastes like TV static to me, and I was like, no, that's exactly it.
No, that makes
And
total sense,
people did not get it, like not. But in fairness, my very autistic friend and they were saying that very literally and was like, I don't understand. I'm like, no, you okay? Like, but couple this with the ADHD, like the metaphorical, like of this because like it's the vibe
combo.
yeah, and I'm like, it's the vibe of the TV static. It's not like the actual, but like it. I can't explain it. It's exactly what it is. It's like Diet Coke from McDonald's being spicy. Like it's not actually hot spice, but it's spicy.
No,
it's spicy.
Yeah.
That's the only word for it.
It's not synesthesia levels of mixing two senses.
Yeah.
It's just a feeling. It's just a like immediate recognition of this is this. Like
exactly. It's like why like I grew up on skim milk and I do non-dairy milks now usually like but I like oat milk, coconut milk, even though I grew up on skim milk, it's too like thin or whatever. It's just not the right thing sometimes. But like I can do almond, soy, little sweet, whatever. But if I go do normal milk and it's like a 2% or whole, I can't do it because the texture is just incorrect. Too thick.
Wrong. It's wrong.
Too thick.
I feel that. Yeah.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
It's why I love spicy food so much.
I wish I did.
I love spicy food because spice
I'm
is a
too
texture.
white. It is, and that's the thing. My brain wants. I used to love spicy tuna, and like I don't know what happened to me one day. I don't know if like suddenly something snapped in my brain and the taste buds went out. But now I think Taco Bell cheese is too spicy. Like it's just like not like normal cheese, like not like they put not like the ones they put on like here, but like a quesadilla cheese that has like the the whatever.
The Chipotle sauce.
Yes.
Yes.
But that's the thing. I used to love Chipotle stuff, anything. But that's the thing. People think I'm crazy. But like I eat, like I'll take a bite of the quesadilla. I'm like, nope, too spicy. And I'm like, it's not too spicy to eat. It's just the wrong thing I'm wanting. If it's like a kick in food, great. But and my brain is so confused because it wants to eat the spicy food. And I just every time my body's like, we don't like this here, and my tongue just can't handle it, and it's really sad because I used to really love. I still love Indian food, but there's a lot of stuff that I just like suddenly like a few years ago it was just like, what level of spice are we talking about here? I don't know if pepper really wronged me one day. I don't know what happened. Like all the challenges you do, can't.
That's the fun for me. So like when I order pad thai from a local Thai joint here, I order the extra wild. I order the like 5 chili like rating on it. I keep a literal fucking this is my bag of ghost pepper salt that I keep on my desk at all times.
I'm diagnosing you as a sociopath with my non-existent what? Why?
Ghost pepper salt. Yeah.
You're just alone in your room putting on stuff to torture yourself? That is a problem.
Okay, listen.
I'm listening and I'm judging. I'm kink shaming right now. The fuck?
Okay, first off, yes and no. We don't gotta go that direction. Secondly,
Okay, I'm listening. Convince me.
Segue.
I am not judging.
No, okay, so this is my little baggie of ghost pepper salt. To be fair, this baggie has lasted me like I want to say like a year and a half at this point. I
Okay.
do like a little tiny pinch, a little bit,
You're
and it's
not
just
jack
a
dosing
nice
up on
like
alien coke. You're like
no,
you're
no, no, no.
just okay.
In my mouth, it's not in my nose. It's I'm not sticking it up my butt. I'm not doing anything weird with
There's
it.
nothing questionable or needing a permit. Like this is
Well, I
purely,
mean,
and it's ghost pepper. It's fine.
questionable is subjective.
That is fair.
But no, I just do like I'll do a little pinch and then like I let it like absorb onto my tongue, like let it like dissolve like the salt, and it just spreads this nice little like tingling sensation across my tongue, and it's a nice little like
I
little
feel like I would
texture to
cry.
have.
Maybe that's one thing we
It's
do one day
honestly,
in person. We have to record it though because I like feel like I would
yeah,
probably genuinely cry.
yeah. I mean, fair.
So
It's
let's
not
do
that bad.
it.
It's not as bad as you think it is.
No, I'm sure
Um,
it's not, but I
however,
cannot.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on what it is. Some days I'm like, okay, that's like it starts off fine and then it's not, but I will literally
Yeah.
sometimes like have a bite of something that I think is okay and then it sits on my tongue for too long and suddenly I'm doing the like, where is anything dairy, like anything at all? Like I'm
Oh,
dying and water's making it worse, obviously. Like I just get so
oh yeah,
stuck in
no
it.
water, no.
No, but then you're like dying and you think it's past or you don't whatever and it's just I would be awful on hot ones. I really want to do it one day. I'd be awful on it.
Um,
But I would suffer through. I would suffer through it.
I did it for the hunt. I did
Yeah.
once we passed the 1500 on my end,
Fuck yeah.
I had the last dab triple X, the most recent one they put out, and I did a whole spoonful. Like I didn't just do like a coating on something. I ate the spoonful by itself and it hurt and
Absolutely
it was
insane.
pain, but honestly, not the worst pain I've had from spice. It was less than I expected and I was kind of bummed. And like I know that that's a weird statement of like I'm sitting there and you can see like the VODs where I'm sitting there going fucking
Yeah. 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 You
struggling.
see the
But I'm like
regret. You see the regret.
you see it, but like not nearly as bad as what I've done before.
Okay.
Um
Okay.
it's because like okay, so it was made with like the three different forms of pepper X, and it's like, oh, it's super spicy, it's ridiculously high. However, for a previous charity stream a few
Hmm.
years back, I did a whole dried ghost pepper. Um a whole dehydrated ghost pepper,
No.
and that had no flavor, all pain. It was
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like at a point,
I
I don't trust that people
oh
aren't lying and that it's not just all pain and people are just like,
no,
I
it's
like
terrible.
swear.
It was the worst. It was the worst. It was a mistake that I loved going through because now I can say I've done it and I never have to do it again. And you know the worst part is?
What?
You know what the worst part is?
What?
It came in a 2-pack.
No. It haunts
It
you.
came in a 2-pack, and
It
there's another one
absolutely,
right
no,
here. And
absolutely not. I
nope, it is a decoration. It will
have
never be
have
consumed.
I told you or have you heard the wasabi story?
Oh, give it to me. Yes, please.
So,
Give me a little bit.
I'm a little bit of a simp. Let me acknowledge this at the start.
Okay, okay.
I for backstory, me and Telepath, we dated briefly in like 2015, 2016, like
Oh,
broke up,
okay.
remain really close, and I was always in love with it. Like it just never fucking went,
Yeah.
like you know what I mean. And so, when we saw each other in person again for the first time after a couple years, I like gone up to visit them at the college they were at the time because they were there for the summer for this
Mhm.
like BFA thing, and I was. We went to go get sushi from their favorite place, and again, I'm very much like, you know what, like I will never be the one to like make me bring this. Like this is it. Like I know how I'm like I'm here as friend. Like, but I knew I was like fucked, right? Um,
Yeah.
and I don't think I knew I was down bad, but I thought I was like normal about it. But when we were
Nope.
we were sitting in the floor, and again, editorial note, I
Mm,
was very in love and very dumb, and
mm,
I don't really use the wasabi. Like if I'm at like a sushi restaurant, I'll put a little bit, like a nice one. I'll like put a little in like the soy sauce or like something like that. But in general, I just like
yeah.
whatever, however the sushi comes, it's just how I eat it. I don't really dip in soy sauce or whatever, right? And so we were getting it, and they had this massive ball of wasabi, and I was just like too
Yes.
much. Do you want this? Because they wanted my ginger, and I was like, do you want the wasabi? Just like. I was like, it's too much wasabi. Like, I'm not gonna eat it. It's like, but you don't like
No,
wasabi?
no.
And I was like, no. It's like, I dare you to eat the whole thing. And I went and shoved the entire ball
Yep,
immediately,
of course.
immediately in my mouth. And I
Yeah.
lasted maybe 3 seconds, I think, until I started like crying almost. And I had braces as a child, so I still have a permanent retainer on my bottom teeth, which the wasabi
Yeah.
promptly gets stuck in because you're panicking trying to like swallow it. As this happens,
No.
my mother starts trying to video call me on my phone, and telepath's recording me at this point because I'm just like, I can't. And you see me look at the phone with just like wasabi trying so hard to swallow this, but like about to just lose. I go, what am I supposed to say? It's stuck in my permanent retainer, Mom. Are you proud of me? Like, I was just so scarred by it. All it took was a joking, I dare you to eat it. And I was like, yes,
Yep.
ma'am.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Got
Yep.
it.
The moment
I'm the formidable
challenge.
suitor. Here you go.
Yep.
That thing was
The
it neurodivergent challenge brain, or was it I'm a simp brain? And either way, people every time I tell that story or they tell their story, but it's even worse because they do it in very specific detail. People go, they look at me and go, you were so down bad. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I know. I did that. I didn't even go, no, but like, really? Like, I literally just instantly, this softball size thing of wasabi.
Yep.
Like, it was.
Oh, God. Oh.
It was, so I don't do well.
Like wasabi, but it's such a unique form of spice.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
it
so
is.
Different.
I like it. It's just
so
if it's unexpectedly on something, like I like on like the seaweeds of like whatever, but if it's just like too much of it on something, it just overpowers everything that you're just kind of, it's almost like a horseradish kind of vibe.
Yeah, like it's really good like mixed into things because it adds a level, it adds a layer to it. No, I think it's a bit of both, honestly. I think that like the neurodivergent need to prove a challenge is the entry point, is the thinking about it, and you got pushed over the edge by being so fucking down bad. Like that it was the even like the thought process to open up to the idea is because it was challenged, and then because of who challenged it, immediate yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
No, I've done the same thing. It's
these coasters.
What's up?
I still had the dice thing open from or whatever, and I like went to minimize something, and it just has this like gorgeous fucking coaster that's a dice coaster.
Ooh.
Hold on,
so like it has like
it has a holder for that, but then it's a D&D like hand card kind of like whatever. This is the sexiest fucking like look at this. There's 24 designs of it.
Shit. Give it to me.
Sexy
Put
D&D shit. Let me paint a picture. There's a rogue, warlock, artificer, fighter, druid, monk, all the classes you could want looking at, but dragons, stuff like that. But it is this like, oh my god, I can't even see the Demogorgon's pretty cool, but it literally has a like horizontal holder at the bottom for your dice, but then there's a carved like wooden coaster around it. It's really nice.
It's very much like it's got the circular shape of the coaster, and in that coaster shape is this beautiful design that you would expect of like almost like a carving of like a Renaissance type feel to it.
We're really selling these coasters.
Ideas and different like fucking monsters, and then there's that like rectangular box for the dice, and it's so cool.
It's really cool. I really like the paladin one's really cool. The bard one's pretty, but I want the wizard one.
I'm a fucking D&D whore.
I love it. Talk horror to me. Let's go.
I will do so much for D&D.
Dude, speaking of bonding over shared whatever, I hate my girlfriend right now because it's just the amount I have been dragged into. I did not need a new hyperfixation. I love them with my whole heart. I love doing it, whatever. I was literally like, I'm just along for the ride. I don't know how to casually like things, though. And so the moment things remotely click in brain, it's just like new personality. Here you go. Here's years and years and years to catch up on.
It's that ADHD all or nothing. Like that's how I like to describe it to people is I am all or nothing. I either go so far deep into the deep end of something that I understand how it functions and how it operates and how I feel about it and how it touches my personal fucking fixation of like my brain. It makes the good brain juice when I just go entirely
brain
into
go burr.
Something.
which I've said a lot
or
of
I
it.
have
Yeah.
no interest whatsoever.
That's the thing.
I
And that's
move
why I
on.
tell people I genuinely like when they're like, can you cosplay like XYZ? I'm like, if I'm a fan of
Yep.
something, I will want to, but like the effort that goes
Yep.
into making a cosplay, let alone getting in the cosplay, if I don't care about it, I'm not going to
And
do it.
the worst part is those hyperfixations that will last
They
over a
can
long period of time
go
are very far and few between. Some of them will last like 3 days and then I'm done.
3
And then I'll
days, like
move
you
on and
spent
have
your
no
entire
things.
life and money and all this
Yep.
shit, like suddenly becoming this is a thing I'm into, and then you
Yep.
just left with all this shit where you're like, what the fuck? Like so many things. Like you suddenly pick up this hobby that or you go on a Wikipedia click hole thing forever, and then it's this whole
Yeah.
thing, or you catch up on this whole. I literally got like all the way through like How to Get Away with Murder up until it started getting off the rails, and then up until like halfway through the last season, and I just stopped watching and I have not come back. Like I just like it will just suddenly be like this isn't a thing anymore. Here you go.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. And that's it. It's that when it's that striking when the iron is hot. Like
Mhm.
you have to have just the right particular circumstances
You do.
to delve into something and achieve
The
something
weather
very
has to be
specific.
right. Yeah.
Yep. That
And
was
it
that was
gives
The
it
Last of
another
Us for
life.
me.
Oh, fucking love The Last of
That
Us.
was The Last of Us. I picked it up casually
It was a
because
slow
I
burn
bought
for
it
me,
with the
yeah.
bundle of the PS4. And I tried to play it, and I got to the clicker room. And by the way, with horror, I am a fucking wuss. I I find DBD to be too much horror for me.
Oh
To
my
give you a
god.
definition of how terrible at
How
horror
did
I
you
am.
handle Phantom Liberty?
Yes.
I was like, it just turns into survival horror at a point.
Phantom Liberty? Oh, easy.
Yeah.
I punch things and they die.
That's
It's
fair. Well, it's the ones where you can't fight back. Got it. Okay.
yeah. It's the one where you can't fight back, especially.
That's
If
fair.
you can't fight back, I'm out immediately. I'm
Outlast.
immediately out. And
Outlast still gets
so
me
I
for that, yeah.
refuse. I will never touch it. Fuck that. Nope. That's a immediate no from me. I'm glad that other people enjoy it. It's an amazing version of what it is. Nope. But so that was The Last of Us. I got to the clicker room. In the first Last of Us, and I heard it, and I went to walk in once, and I was like, nope. And I put it down, and I didn't touch it, and I
love that.
waited. And I waited. And like I knew that people love The Last of Us. People love The Last of Us. And so I was waiting.
Yeah.
And I was waiting. And I just had it there. It was the first PS4 game. The PS4 was the first console I bought with my own money. And like
that.
it was the first PS4 game I had. And so I waited for like a year and a half. And then I was like, I need to play this game. It needs to happen. It is too culturally relevant. I know too many people who love it. I have to get this done. And I sat down and played the entire game in a day.
A+.
That's it. Start
That's
to
how you do
finish,
it.
one sitting, and I fucking love it. It's so good.
It is absolutely
so
how you do it. It's
good.
so fucking
But
good.
it had to be
It's
just the right. It had to be just the right moment. And I wanted to do it for months prior. I had downloaded it and uninstalled it and downloaded it and uninstalled it. And finally that one day I was like sitting down, everybody fuck off. I'm doing this one thing.
Oh yeah, me with Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man PS4. Yeah.
Oh.
I have so many games that I'm like have every intention I want to play. I can't, whatever. And it's like, yeah, I'll even try to start them. And if my brain doesn't immediately, like, I'm like, no. And then eventually I'll come back to it and fall in love with it and like whatever. But sometimes it just like, it won't hit and you cannot force it. I feel like, I don't know if you're like this, but do you get the like almost define when people are like, oh, you have to watch this? And then your brain is just like, I now can't.
Nope.
My mother all the time is like, oh, you have to watch this. You have to. And I'm like, I don't. I don't. And also now I have expectations of you asking me about it all the time and then me having to talk about like, no, like, but it's way different than if someone was like, if I'm over and they're like, I'm going to watch this episode. And I'm like, great. I've never seen it. Do the thing. And then I can naturally get into it, which is why I tell people like, I've never seen Supernatural. Right. I dodged that. I somehow dodged that bullet because I was also into Sherlock and Doctor Who. So like, I mean, like I needed to dodge that bullet.
Both of those.
I feel that. And the amount of times specifically Crit After 8 and Rogue Telepath are like, no, you're Sam Kenny, you need to watch this fucking show. I'm like, I don't know. It's no. And so I agreed because they've never seen the X-Files. Like Telepath's never seen the X-Files. I'm like, you pick 2 episodes of Supernatural that we sit down and watch, and I'll pick 2 of X-Files. And then we'll just see if each other finally get into the other thing, right? Because I don't care about starting at the beginning if it's going to hook me. If it's something like that, that's so long running and so whatever. If I'm interested at all, I will go back and watch it. I will go find every detail that ever exists. It's like telling people start on Borderlands 1. You're not gonna if it's not the thing that's gonna hook them, don't fucking do it.
Yes.
Like that's it.
Start on BL1.
And so it's just like you gotta find what that person is gonna like have that experience with. And I get that's not normal for everyone to be like start here, but way easier to get me into something by doing something like that versus like, no, you have to watch the thing because now I'm like, well, I now need to. That was a task I have to do, and I don't want to do the task.
Now you're trying to tell me what my autonomy needs to choose.
I still
and
haven't
I'm
seen
not
the
doing
Avatar
that.
movie, like the James Cameron like Blue Navi Avatar movie. I've never seen it
Oh, the first one or the second?
either
Oh, fair enough. I've
because
seen the first one, not the second.
I just the first
But
one came
again,
out, I was working all the time and like everyone had seen it
yeah.
and been like, "Oh,
Oh
this is
yeah.
the best thing ever and this beautiful and everything."
Mhm.
And I just like I already didn't really I was like, "Fine, I'll see if it's like there." But it became this thing where it was like everywhere. I was like, "I'll see it later." We bought it on like 3D DVD when that was a thing and my mom and I were like, "Yeah, we'll eventually watch this." And then we just neither of us ever did, and I feel like the only two people on the
Nope.
planet at this point who never saw the first one because it just like became a thing that everyone was like, "This is the best thing ever." I'm like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah. Honestly, meh. I
Yeah.
like the story was cool, but I'm not like
I
over the
just
moon
every
about
trailer
it.
I saw, I'm like, I agree with the this feels like Dances with Wolves kind of vibe. I'm just like, I feel like I've seen this, and
Yeah.
James Cameron's fine. I don't care.
See, for me, it's one of two things. If you want me to get into something, if you want me to experience some kind of game or show or whatever, it's either do it with me, like be like, hey,
Yeah,
I would like to do this. Do you want to join me? And if I like you, 100%, yes, I would love
yeah.
to. Let's find a time to do it.
Even if it's
Or
overwhelming at first, like yeah,
two, be passionate about it.
yeah. No,
Be excited
same.
about it, love it. Like I want to see your care for something, and if I see that you love something and you're not trying to push it onto me, then I am more likely to want to experience it. And it's
No,
something that we brought up earlier,
absolutely.
is that manner of like getting closer between people, is like I do so by going towards the things that people love. I also do that unconsciously, of
Yeah,
like if someone is excited about something, loves something, is giddy and just wanting to explode with a desire to talk about and go in depth into something, I want that. I want that.
same.
I want to be able to talk to you about it. I want to be excited about it. I want to know what that is, and I want to have it because it becomes something desirable, not something I have to do.
Exactly. And I feel like that's not to like suck my own dick here, but I feel like that's why
Do it.
I tend
Remove a wolf.
to I'm gonna get real into it. No, I feel like one of my favorite things is when I talk a lot about like the pre-sequel or something in stream and I have
Yeah.
people who are very like I haven't played it or kind of against or didn't like it. And even if they come back and they end up still not liking it, they went back and gave it another shot and they'll come tell me about it. Or
Mhm.
they'll be like, you know, I've thought about it and 3 isn't really as annoying as I thought on this playthrough. Cause it's like there are plenty of things I shit on I trash talk things I love all the time. If when I love something, I can
Oh
tear it
yeah.
apart. Like intimately. Like I have my criticisms on Borderlands, so what Twitter wants to believe, you know? Like I just feel like it's one of those things where I don't it's boring to talk about the things you hate. It's like
Mhm.
and there's a time and place for like valid criticism and most people just feel like they can do everything better than whatever. And it's just this echo chamber that like everyone creates
Yeah.
and Mick got real mad at that word last week, but it's what it is. And I just feel like it's so much more fun. Like I'm more likely to try something or give something a chance if people are really passionate about it. And I have no agenda for that other than the fact I'm passionate about it and I can't pretend I can't casually like things. If I like it,
Yeah.
that's how I like it. And so it's one of those things where I feel like it's my favorite thing about streaming or like sharing cosplay. Like when people run up to me at cons and they're like, "Oh my god, I've been thinking about playing Borderlands," or "This reminded me," or "I need to go back." And it's
Yeah.
just like having that shared passion, seeing people get excited about it. Like I'm a very
It's,
neurodivergent person, and I
uh-huh.
don't mask that well in stream. And so I feel that people who stay tend to be also inclined or at least understand that or have people in their life like that. So they are able to connect with that kind of like passion without making it feel like people who had never seen me before, who I post something like, I love Borderlands, and people are like, okay, you're a fake fan because everyone would hate this or whatever. I'm just like, you clearly
Mhm.
have never listened to anyone you talk about this game who genuinely loves it because like
Yeah.
there's,
It's that moment when they think that I give a fuck about their opinion
oh, that
when
too.
I love
That could be a
something.
whole episode itself. Like, oh my god, yeah, it's been hilarious. It's been fucking hilarious this week because I literally would post
Uh,
like, I love Borderlands. I'm excited for new Borderlands anything, and then people are like,
yeah.
"You're a dumb bitch."
It's
Like it's just
bad.
like okay,
It's
like
bad you don't know. I
I
know
just
things better. I'm like,
not. I don't even
congratulations. Go say it on your own fucking Twitter page that nobody gives a fuck about.
listen.
Like,
I have plenty of things I could sit here and be like people are wrong about, and I don't
uh,
because that's not fun or interesting. And who the fuck am I? No one cares. What's it
no.
gonna do? What's it gonna do? But while we're here on my podcast, I'm not gonna harp
Yes.
on it. But I think the thing that gets me, and it's why I made kind of a little like LOL tweet about it. But like
Uh-huh.
I am an actor. I've been on set. I am a screenwriter. I've adapted. I've been in production on stuff. I've
Yeah.
various budgets and whatever. I've worked for
Of all the
people.
people who have a certain level of knowledge, like you kind of know what the fuck you're talking about.
That are just so completely just not remotely based in any reality and no awareness of how anything works, who then
Yeah.
suddenly will have, 6,000 retweets for this one thing. And I'm sitting here going like, I don't think any of you have ever watched a movie, let alone like know what's going on. And so my favorite response to people have just like, I'm not responding to the ageism bullshit because it's just like,
No, of
I'm
course
not
not.
fucking here for it. And there's so
No.
many people don't want to like be, oh, you're right. I open like no one wants to fucking know. But these ages or heights or whatever aren't relevant to the fucking characters. And the only one that you could argue it for is Tina for that story. And people saying it should have been Ashley Birch. Cool, you want another 30-year-old person playing like 13 year like what? Then it doesn't matter about age. Like, what are you talking? Rant. That's a whole thing. I'm putting in a jar because I could go off. But like, love it or hate it, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I have no vested interest in it. Like, I just want people to like be open to. I just want a dumb movie to go to the theater. I'm gonna be excited to go to the theater again. I just want to have fun. If I can take an edible and go see this movie and like not hate it, perfect. If it's Morbius levels of bad, great. That means I'll watch it again.
Yeah.
Like that. Like literally be so bad that it's memeable or be surprisingly fun and good. That's it. That's all I want.
That's why I want to watch Madam Web because I'm keep hearing about how bad it is.
So bad. Dude, Hawkin, no, literally, I keep saying things. There's like, no, I understand that, like, oh, it's so bad you need to see for yourself. But like, I don't think you do. Like, I don't think you understand the type of bad it is. And I'm like, no, that's why I need to see it. I need to go to fucking City Walk, sit in a theater surrounded by all these other people and see this bad ADR myself. I need to. I need
to sit and feel the atmosphere of
I need
cringe.
to feel the budget like, and the AI generate. I need to sit and feel the studio exec like 2 feet away from me, just watching this happen. That's what I need. Yeah. That's what I need.
So I was in a Discord call with a few friends and we watched Velocipaster.
Oh my God.
Have you seen Velocipaster?
No, what I've heard. I've fucking heard. Oh my God.
It is such a horrendously bad piece of whatever the fuck you want to call it. You can call it anything and it would probably be right. And it's so deliciously okay. So there's a point, I'm not going to say exactly why. There's a point where he's leaving this church and on the outside, his car explodes and there's an explosion there, except there isn't an explosion there. The explosion is the text words SFX explosion, car explosion.
Oh my God. cinema honestly. The peak, the pinnacle of anything.
Best part is it's been funded for a sequel.
I have so many horror stories of funding in Hollywood that I literally every time anything gets through, I usually sit there and go, huh.
Oh no.
Okay.
Crowdfunded.
Even better. That's the thing. People are like, I'll just do it. I'm like, no, of course it is, because people have taste. People know what they want. And I love it. I love it. Listen, I respect it. I hardcore respect it. And I feel like we need more of those chaotic little moments because I feel like Marvel's just like I went through a big Marvel phase. Like I cosplay Captain Marvel, like whatever. I love X-Men, but like I feel like Marvel. I fucking love it. But like the constant stream of it and like the formula, like I feel like it just done something to people's brains of what we expect from a movie or like whatever. And like it's always a yardstick of comparison that I'm like, there are other types of movies of like anything. So when people are like, this is Guardians of the Galaxy, this is whatever. I'm just like, there are other movies that
I'm a massive fucking nerd. I love Marvel. I've loved Marvel since I was a fucking tiny kid. Like the first movie I ever saw in theaters was 2002 Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. It was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. It's the first memory I have of seeing a movie. I was 4 years old at the time, and they let me pick the seats, which was a terrible idea because we sat in the front row of a theater. Because,
kids are dumb because children are dumb. And
because children are dumb. And that led to a year and a half where I did not leave the house unless I was in a Spider-Man costume.
Speaking of weird little, like, again, one of those, why did no one ever tell me I was neurodivergent things? I went through a summer where I watched Sweeney Todd twice a day, every day, all summer.
Yes.
Absolutely understand. I do that with a lot of them. I remember one day I was homesick from school and I watched the movie Red Eye 4 times in a row. Like I just kept restarting it. Like it was just what it was. It scratched the brain and what
mine was Mine was Step Up to the Streets for Sick Days and Staying Home.
Nice.
I've seen that movie hundreds
Did you
of
ever see
times.
Stick It? Stick It, the gymnastics movie.
I
Jeff Bridges is
No,
in it.
I've
I have a thing
not.
with Jeff Bridges though. I like really love Jeff Bridges. Stick It, worth
Yeah.
seeing, but there's a scene same with the main girl. It's one of those moments where it's like, you know, when people are like, what was your gay awakening? And there's two moments I go to. There's been probably plenty when I go through. I need to look at Law and Order and like examine some things probably, but like there's a moment where she's like lowering herself into ice like bath, like she's still close to whatever, but just like the muscle kind of thing, and you're just like it's just a universal like moment, which is probably why I watch the movie a lot because like you know, but that and
Yeah.
are you familiar? How familiar are you with 1999's or it's a 1998 1999's Parent Trap with Lindsay Lohan?
Very roughly. I've not like seen it fully, but like okay,
What?
you got to remember, I was born in 1998. I'm 25.
You are a youngin. You are a
So,
youngin.
like,
Okay. There's
so
okay.
there's, and also like
To
I don't watch movies. I
That's
don't watch
fair.
movies or shows because I
To
play a
educate
shitload of
you.
games.
To educate you.
Yes,
There
please do.
is a very I literally get targeted things on this on
Mhm.
my For You page on TikTok. This is how universal this is.
Uh-huh.
There is a moment in the beginning of the movie. So the twins not knowing each other both go to the same camp, right? This is how the movie starts, right?
Mhm.
The summer camp, and that's it. And they're getting their bags and they're going to the thing. And it's a quick little introduction of both of them on their own thing. And when Hallie, the American, you know, twin of the two of them, is there trying to get her bag and it's buried at the bottom. And because it got like thrown on this bags on top of it, one of them comes over to like try to help get it out. And they whip around and they go, yo, tie-dye girl. And this girl in a tie-dye shirt like whips around and comes, like gets out the bag and hands her. They go, tie-dye girl, gay awakening. Like literally like this universal moment of just like, this is Parent Trap, which I can quote every single word to the Parent Trap. Parent Trap is one of those things that I quote casually in conversation. If I'm asking Telepath where we want to eat, there's a line from the parent. Are you Googling tie-dye girl Parent Trap?
Of course I am.
Good. You should. I was gonna send it to you if you didn't, but you absolutely should. You will understand. But
Yes,
literally,
yeah.
there's a
As a
moment.
kid, obviously. Like,
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just the energy. It's not even. It's like hot. Like it was the energy of tie dye girl that everyone was like, seen.
Even from Googling, I get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
But that's like I'm seeing what comes. Girl, parent. I looked at the autofills. Yeah, literally the amount of shit that comes up when you just Google tie-dye girl Parent Trap. The fact that there are this many Google results should tell you what this did to a generation. That movie in general.
Yeah.
But literally, like, there's a line in it later where she comes home from camp, one of them after they've like done the swap, and their like nanny, house help or whatever, is like asking where she wants to eat. And every time I ask Telepath where we want to eat, or what we're doing or where we're going, I'm like, so do you want to eat and then unpack, or unpack and then eat, or eat while we unpack? You mean I can eat in my room? Yeah, I'd say that's a definite possibility. I literally just go into a full quote of this scene for no fucking reason. They don't know the movie this well. It's not. It's just like a thing. It's just me. I can't. I was letting my dog out on the patio one day, like a year ago or something, if not more. And I was doing a couple different work things, wasn't paying attention, and I just left the door open and went to go do it. And I heard a scream, and I literally went, Parent Trap, and I knew the exact scene because it was just Meredith like screaming when she was out on the water, and I literally just listened hard enough and I was like quoting with it where it would catch up. So when I finally heard the words, I'm like, yep, that's Parent Trap, and I moved on from a brief 1 sec. I'm like, this is a problem. I would like to delete this knowledge from my brain.
Yeah.
But you can't, because again, we go back to it, you can't. The moment something sticks, it sticks. And so many hyperfixations get dropped, but when they turn into a special interest, it's a problem. And you don't get to pick it, it picks you. And so yeah, Borderlands, I'm stuck. That Borderlands lasted longer than I thought it would. I say that with a massive tattoo of it now, but like it's been years, obviously.
Join the club.
I know. It's done. The deed is
so
done.
happy for you.
It looks so good. But
it's so fucking cool.
It's so cool.
God, and like the picture you had on Twitter with the like fucking Rosie the Riveter like flex, I was like,
someone responded to it today.
Awesome.
It's like, you could have that tattoo and like be all that stuff and still not know anything about Borderlands. And I'm like, yeah, because I get a Helio Station blueprint on my arm. Like, that's what gamer girls are doing for this niche fucking community. Okay, I just left it. But
I don't get. And here's the thing. even if I did, even if I've never played the game before, and I think that that's just a cool design that I'd like on
Who
my body,
fucking
that's my
cares?
choice. It's my body. Go fuck yourself.
If someone is
Like,
going, this is what I love. Why do we care about playtime hours? Like, and someone,
I
if
get
they've
that.
ever gone this part or whatever, when I already have
Mhm.
more hours than they usually do.
Yeah, I get that shit with my forearm tattoo because I've got
Yeah.
I've got my bat symbol.
Nice.
So I've got my bat symbol. Half of it is for listening.
Yeah.
Half of it is the Dark Knight bat symbol, like shape from Christian Bale's Batman. Slash Edward, not Edward Nolan, Christopher Nolan. I'm mixing names.
It's a
Half
tequila.
of
We
it
got you.
is just the standard Batman symbol, and then the other half is a ha 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 Joker laugh in the shape of the bat symbol.
Because they're gay. Get it? Like, it's the gay.
Originally, it was. No, I love it. I didn't realize
Batman A+.
I didn't know I was gay until long after I got this tattoo. Because I
Queerness,
repressed
baby.
hard.
Dude, for real
hard.
though. And it's always like breadcrumbs when you go back. You're like, how the fuck did yeah.
It was there's a lot there. There's a lot there. We could talk about a lot there.
Yeah.
We will talk about a lot there because we'll get on to D&D, and D&D is part of what helped me realize that I'm fucking gay.
I love that. I love that. I think we talked about that little TwitchCon. I think we talked about one of your playable characters, right?
Yeah, Glitterbomb.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get back to Glitterbomb.
Yeah,
I'll finish the thing first because if not, I'll forget.
No, same.
ADHD. Thanks. So like I've got the Batman tattoo, and I've had people be like, "Oh, and like there's this form of Batman in this comic book that shows this number of this issue that shows this part of Batman." I'm like, "Cool. I don't know about that comic." They're like, "Oh, but you have a Batman tattoo," and I'm like, "Yeah, this is a fucking work of art.
Yeah.
Be jealous."
Because I love it and it's hot and I'm hot and fuck off. Like, who gives a fuck? I have a fucking Tarantino tattoo, which is like one of the cringiest things about me, but I have a little, it's a Quentin Tarantino tattoo. It's the first line from the script of Pulp Fiction. And so it just says interior coffee shop morning because I'm a screenwriter and it's just like, retention. But like, it was gonna, long story short, Reservoir Dogs is one of the things that made me start like writing. Like, I fucking love Reservoir Dogs. I could do a masterclass on the layers of Reservoir Dogs and how much I love it, both in the process of it getting made and the story and the relationship between orange and white. I could write a dissertation on. It is one of my faves. But the first line of that one, the slug line, is interior Bob's Pancake House morning, and I didn't think I wanted that on my arm for the rest of my life. And so Pulp Fiction, I'm like, well, yeah, it's Tarantino. I know what it is, and it's like these movies that got me in a very cinematic way. But also I feel like a little bit like me, it's not like. But like film bros and like whatever, right? But like I was living in Portland at the time and people would see it and I'd be like, it's from Pulp Fiction. They're like, oh yeah, like, do you know all Quentin Tarantino's movies? Like trying to trick me with Jackie Brown or something. I'm like, I have a Tarantino tattoo and you think I've never seen the fucking movies? But also, what does it matter if I didn't? What if I just liked it? Like, and that's my thing with the Helios tattoo. I'm like, cool, say this is just something someone got and like whatever else, and you had all this. I probably put more hours into making Borderlands cosplays and people have gaming half the time. But beside that point, it's who gives a fuck? Some people don't play the game, they watch the game. Some people don't experience it that way. Some people really love Tales. Some people really won't touch Tales and don't like. Who are we to gatekeep how people like a thing? More people liking a thing is a good thing. Like, that's good. It's just having friends to talk about things you like with. Like, literally, it's not that deep. It's not that fucking deep. Like it or not.
There's so many, like, there's this idea that I have to be the most knowledgeable about this thing, and I have to know all of it.
I don't know fucking anything.
I must be competitive to the point where, and again, this is not me saying it's just I must be competitive to the point where if anybody comes even close, I have to be the best. And if they don't know, then they're not as good as me. It's that looking down on someone. It doesn't matter what it's about. It doesn't matter whether it's a fandom or a game or money. Like, it's that air of looking down on another person for a differing position in opinion. Like, I got this because I like the essence of Batman. I haven't read like fucking a tenth of the Batman comics because there's so fucking many of them. I don't know every single tiny
X-Men.
thing, but it doesn't matter because I love it, because it makes me happy.
No, same.
Because I want to talk about things that I enjoy.
No, literally, I fucking love X-Men with my whole heart and soul. I fucking love X-Men. There are too many goddamn comics to read. I don't care.
Yeah, of
Like,
course.
and there's too many timelines and weird timelines and whatever. I love what I love
Yeah.
from X-Men, and I love some of the comics, and I own some, but I'm not like that's not how I got into X-Men. Like, my
No.
love for X-Men brought me into the comics and experience stuff. But like, listen, I love Magneto. I love the new, House of X. I love all this shit, but like, I'm not going back through decades and decades and decades and decades and decades of comic to prove that I'm a fan for something that I'm not.
No.
That's not where I'm getting the enjoyment from it. If it doesn't make brain juice, it doesn't happen.
Exactly. It has to make the good brain juice.
It does. Which Lego Batman absolutely got me to appreciate Batman so much more.
Batman. Yeah.
Love it. I love it. And
I
people,
love Lego Batman.
It's so good. It's so good.
So good. It's so much
good.
fun. It just has to be fun.
It's very unapologetically fun. And that's the best part of it. I have the hiccups now finally from the rogue energy, I think, but it's finally happening. It's fine.
Oh, that's fun. That's great.
Glitterbomb.
We love that.
Glitterbomb.
Oh, yes. So
I love that I did the hand with that. I didn't even mean to do the hand with that. It was more just me going talk, and then I just did the.
Hey, what? Let me find.
I did a limp wrist. If you're
actually, that might take me a while. I have dice for Glitterbomb.
Amazing.
Because of course I do.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
They are clear pink glittery resin.
A plus.
I love Glitterbomb. So Glitterbomb was not how I figured out I was gay. Glitterbomb is how I figured out I was gender fluid.
Glitterbomb is a character for reference if that was missed in a thing. Yes, not so, just
sorry,
glitterous existence. A really nice bath bomb just was the egg crack moment of transness and gender and
No, well, and I'm gonna overarch. I'm gonna go even beyond that. I'm gonna go further. I'm gonna get into fucking psychology with you. Let's have a fucking conversation.
Let's speak.
Video games, Dungeons and Dragons, entertainment is part of how I cope with life and how I discover things about myself and how I allow myself to explore my own mind and brain. One of these examples is a character that I had named Glitterbomb. I played in a campaign run by my friend Katie, who incidentally looks fucking exactly like Speaking Lion. You two, I swear, could be sisters.
I love that. My sister and I don't look that similar, so that's really funny.
I think I sent you a picture of Katie at one point.
I think so. I feel like I remember you tagging. Yeah, something. Yeah.
It's hard because I don't have very many pictures of her. I literally have a video of the first time she got high off her ass and was talking about like stuff. I love it. It was so much fun. She was okay with I asked for videoing first.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Before even we took it, I was like, hey, are you cool if I like take video of certain things? And she was like, yeah, absolutely. I want you to take video because I want to know what I'm like when I'm high. Yeah.
Oh no, same.
Exactly.
Same.
She legitimately asked for. But so she was DMing and I made this character named Glitterbomb. There's a race in D&D called the Changeling. It came out in a supplement book called Eberron something War or whatever the fuck. I have it right over there. It's over on my shelf because of course it is. And the Changeling is essentially just a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Their whole being is that they can change into different creature types, different people. Like they can entirely change what they look like. And so I made Glitterbomb as an AFAB changeling, who predominantly like their most natural figure is that of a flamboyant drag queen. That is,
I fucking love
rainbow tassels, fucking like. Vest with the like stringy like rainbow tassels.
Nothing but love and respect for Glitterbomb here.
They are a celestial warlock pacted with Aphrodite.
Oh, shut the fuck up. You just made like a sexy bitch and we're like, yes, this is what I'm doing.
And the exact words of the pact are, you gain power as long as you spread love in all of its forms. And that includes platonically, romantically, sexually, stuff like that. Again, stuff that was talked about with the player group beforehand. These are things you agree on. These are things you talk about before you go into certain things. And we didn't do any ERP. We didn't get into that shit because that feels weird.
Yeah.
Fade to black. Thank you very much. And and so Glitterbomb was very much walking around going, why, hello there, darling. It's so nice to meet you. Look at you. You're just adorable.
A
very
Starion
just
voice, just like
a little
absolutely,
bit
yeah.
before
Okay,
Starion existed.
yeah. We love it. I mean, we all
The
need that energy. Clearly,
yeah,
it
it was
was
so much fun. It was
that
so much fun to just
is a
be like, I
fucking
just got to be as
blast.
gay as I wanted to be. Essentially, it's
I
it's like,
fucking
what did
love
you
that.
do? You yassified. That's it.
That's all you did. Yeah, you got to gasify. And that's honestly a gift. I
It's
think
like,
really.
hello there. What are you up to? Would you've got something particularly tasty for myself? Something like a healing potion, maybe even a greater, if you've got the inventory for me.
I
Um,
love it so much. My character's always too much of
and
a mess to commit to like that. Like they like think they're charismatic and then they go up, they're like, "Hi, I so like I just like forgot." Like just immediately melt. I wish any of them would have the commitment that some of the characters in Right would have to that energy, which would be great. But the moment I'm like, okay, free reign, go, they're like, okay, no,
I,
I'm a basket case. I'm like, right, I forgot you are
well,
troubled.
when I role play, like D&D wise, like I very rarely get to be a player, and I haven't played in so long, and I
Mhm.
miss D&D because I don't want to be a fuck. I love DMing, and
You
DMing is
want to
great,
be
but it
able to
takes
be a
so much
passenger
work.
princess. No, that's
I just
that's
no, yes.
I was talking about that with
Oh.
Crit, the our DM for the campaign me and Telpath are doing right now, because they're the ones who, speaking of the like, hey, do something with me, and like I talked about the fact that like I tried D&D when I was like younger, but like I was kind of like the leader of the friend group, and like I was the most outgoing one and the like actory one, so like it was like most people would do like mafia and people just like wouldn't role play, like it just like wouldn't really
Yeah.
work. So I tried like a one shot, just
No.
messy. It's like it didn't really happen, right? And so like short of like some experience like exposed to it or like in other games where there's a moment of like a D&D element, I
Yeah.
hadn't gone through it. So they were like, okay, let's just do like Call of Cthulhu. It's like a one shot. Would that be like, oh, and like kind of, I'm like, yeah, sure. So we like started with that, right? And fell into this, campaign that I imagine is just insane amount of work to prep, because it's fascinating me. And that's the thing. My brain would really love that, because that's a lot of what I do, of like that, like I'm used to building a universe, being able to control it. So the anxiety I have waiting week to week, going like, no, you don't understand. I need to fucking like, am I wrong? Like I
Yeah.
plot brain is whatever, because
I
I'm used to that role. But that's what I was telling Allie, was that I'm like, I I so much went into this being like, okay, here's like idea for care, like all this stuff. It's like, but you can do whatever you want, because I love that I just get to yes and right now. Like I don't have to like be the one driving, like doing all that prep and everything. Because everything I've ever done,
yeah.
like when I used to run writing groups and doing stuff online and all this other, I'm usually the one that's like creating the plot and like doing
Yeah.
that prep work, and like as a writer having to do all of that for my own story. And so the fact that I get to
Yeah.
sit there and be an actor, like, and
Yes, be a fucking character.
I get to
Ah,
improv. I get to let this thing, my writer brain and
yes.
actor brain, like it's feeding my actor ego, where I get to sit here and be like, I get to really get into a character. But because of that, I now have Pinterest boards and fucking playlists. And I cried in the car on the way home from the pharmacy the other day before a work meeting, because I had the playlist on and a song came on that hit like a specific thing that has been like an anxiety in the character brain right now. And I was like, oh my God, she just listened. Like
Yes.
it was a
Yes.
problem. But I told her, I was like, I'm enjoying being a passenger princess. And then she threw that back
Yep.
at me when like this anxiety thing happened. I was like, literally, she's miserable right now. It's like, well, you said you want to be a passenger princess. I'm like, I did. That doesn't mean I can be mad about it. Like, it's fine. But no, I get that, where it's like, I feel like I would really love DMing, but my brain is
Yep.
also like really getting off on the like idea of like, oh my God, I get to like play it though. And it's just such a different approach to how I normally do things, that it activated something in my brain once we got into it,
See, yeah, and I go under. I have a fun little saying I like to throw out, and that is, I've never made a decision in my life. I am I am a gender fluid, pansexual. Like
Yeah.
I need
Don't put you in a
everything.
box. Yeah. Like
Right.
it's,
I am
yeah.
gender fluid, pansexual, polyamorous.
You gotta
Like
check all those boxes. Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, it's a whole fucking spectrum, and the spectrum is fucking 4-dimensional. Like it's
It is. It fucking is. And it's hard to, when things are so like binary in people brain and stuff like that, it's really hard to like learn about it and like see the spectrum and like get the spectrum and everything. Because I mean, I even have
Yeah.
things like that because but I'm definitely ebb and flow,
I
and
can
it's
kind of understand.
yeah.
Same
But
though.
it kind of ebb and flow where it's just like
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like in this I think that's more the like neurodivergent side. I don't believe people are genuinely walking around like seeing people on the street and going like, oh yeah, I'm gonna fuck that person like genuinely and like have this arousal. I don't think that's what arousal is and sexual attraction is, but also that
No.
could be my weird asexual view. Like I don't know because I'm
No.
like movies and stuff aren't like it's all like you're saying the demi thing like it's the like character interactions of them make a sex scene in a show be like, oh, this feels like when people are like, oh, it's just sex. Everyone like, no, there's a difference between like whatever. But like,
No.
I was one of the
Yeah.
bitches in Game of Thrones when the early season, it's season one, and I remember Littlefinger's talking about something. Well, he has like two like whores like doing crap, right? And it's this whole scene, and people are like, oh, it's sex. I'm like, no, he's giving you all the exposition you need. That's a writing trick. It's distraction there. That's all. Like, I was that nerd. That wasn't like whatever. And so
Yeah.
I feel like it's just there's such a spectrum. People just like are so uncomfortable with like having to explore anything. Like I say all the time, I feel like if people actually explore gender, so many people would be more fluid than they realize they are. Like if that was actually something you sat down and were asked about ever or like thought about. Because I
Yeah.
remember I learned
And
bisexuality was a thing from RuneScape. Someone asked me in the
Amazing.
center if I liked men or women, and I said, "Well, I'm a girl, so guys." And they're like, "You can like both," and I was like,
wait, that's a thing you could do?
"You what? You can like either?" Hold on. Oh, what? And then I just like didn't. Yeah, no, like no idea,
Yeah.
because gay people weren't like didn't. It was Tennessee.
See, it's one of those things that it's like once you start to like piece things together and start to realize things, you start to go back and go, oh yeah, I was into that.
I
I
think
was into
about
this. I was into,
not role playing Jack, but cosplaying Jack, same thing. But cosplaying Jack and how specifically when I'm like in better shape, better health, whatever, like when I'm like feeling good because I've had so many just health issues going on that I'm just like cosplaying's fucking exhausting right now, but like love it, but like my body is breaking and bloated and everything else. But when I'm like feeling good, cosplay Jack, I'm like gender. This is gender. This is the peak. This is feeling. This is yes. But then also it's like I'll be in Liz in a corset and like all this stuff, and I'll be like, I am pretty. And like it's like one of those things where it's just like I feel like there's so much pressure on people to like figure out and decide like not be wrong about stuff that it's just you spend so much time like going, I don't know, when really that could be the answer. You're just like, I don't know. Like it's fun. It's fun. That's the thing. And there's also a stigma, I'll say, like if literally like take say a guy cosplayed as Ellie or a guy was cosplaying like a sister who's cosplaying as Moxie, people will be like, oh weird, me cosplaying as Jack. I've never been asked like, so are you like trans? Like that's not what comes from it. But really I'm sitting here, I'm like, I never want to take out this binder. I feel hot. I feel like this is like
yes.
It's
That's
such a weird thing.
There's such a weird like stigma based on like, especially I feel like it's more societally not acceptable, but societally less stigmatized for AFAB individuals to do gender bend, whereas like AMAB doing so gets like
absolutely trans women absolutely and any type of femme presenting spectrum from and it's absolutely, and that's the thing, there are issues on both sides. This isn't like there's always the like whataboutism in like comment sections like
and that's why I almost didn't bring it up. I was like,
the world sucks, but like as a as a AFAB person, like I definitely notice benefits from when I am more feminine presenting and not what YouTube thinks are like, oh, boobs, like whatever, but just like in general that versus, the opposite. Like it's very, and again, less in cosplay because people are like cool, but like they don't clock it the same way. It's like, but it's just, there are so many layers to it. And I think if that stigma were like even just acknowledged more, because that's so much of what takes people to like understand it's there and like be able to do it, like people would play with it more and question it more and like be more okay with it.
And I think that, and I'm going to bring this all the way back.
I
think that ability to play with and to mess around with things in a non-consequential environment is why D&D and video games and stuff of the sort is what allowed me to figure out my gender fluidity and what allowed me to express myself better. So with Glitterbomb,
I love it.
I made this
Shout out
character
to
that was meant
Glitterbomb.
to be shout out to Glitterbomb, right? I made this character who was flamboyantly drag queen because I thought it'd be a lot of fun. And when I make, without realizing, like, no, yeah, you're fucking, you're you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
I was like, this
You
sounds
always
like a
end up
fun
making yourself in
idea.
some way,
Like
and it's just
it's
like, ah.
yes. And oftentimes I do that intentionally. I will
Yeah.
take an aspect of my personality, I will pick that spot, and I will amplify that to the main part of the character, and then everything else falls behind. So it's still pretty much me, but in like an exaggerated way, in a hyperbolic formula.
Yeah.
So with this
Yeah.
one, I was thinking that my hyperbolic formula was sex, love, and peace, and turns out I was wrong.
Yeah. It was the
Um,
changeling
It was the
aspect.
changeling aspect of it. And so
Wild
as
plot
I was
twist.
playing this character, it was the ability like, oh, I'm going to change into this form. And I would have like different voices for the different forms that my character would
Nice.
take. So of course, there's the base of Glitterbomb, which is just very flamboyant
I
and
just only hear
fun.
it's
And
amazing.
then
It's
there's
amazing.
bit more of like a stronger type thing. You're walking around more of like an orcish type figure, looking down on people, a little bit of hype, but not too much. And then there's something more along the sides of like the Auntie, where you're a bit more sleek and a bit more stealthy, but not quite like changing anything too drastically. But it was fun to like mess around with stuff. And
Your stronger voice sounds a little bit like Patrick Warburton. I'm obsessed with it.
a little bit more like Patrick Warburton.
Ah! I love it. I need to
I love
record something
Patrick
in that
Warburton.
voice. Oh my god, it's so good.
Right.
I love it. One of my favorite
I
moments
love
from
voices.
PAX was
Voices
me
are my
talking
favorite thing.
to the director of New Tales, and we were in this bar and literally
Yeah.
brought this man to his knees to talk about our love for Patrick Warburton. And we were literally on the floor of the
Yeah.
bar almost, like being like, I love Patrick Warburton. I'm like, same.
Yeah.
Shout out JLo. I just like
And
literally, yeah.
yeah, it was through playing this character and being able to like morph and change and then feel. So like for a very long time I'd been battling with the classic upbringing of a very toxically masculine growth pattern. Like I'm an
Yeah.
AMAB individual, like no fucking shit.
Yeah.
And so I grew up very like, this is your man card. You have to lift this much. Trucks are this way. You have to be strong in this manner. And then I started doing things that I felt more like I started getting more gay, and I was like, all right, toxic masculinity is bullshit. I can express whatever emotions I want, and I can be more feminine and more like messing around and having fun with it and just enjoy myself. To, you know what, I think I'm gonna paint my nails. To, I think I'm gonna start wearing makeup. To
I
and
love
just
it.
continuing to express and be like, the part that like really hit me was that I went to Ren Fair with Erica shortly after I'd finished playing Glitterbomb and finished that whole campaign, which is very emotional, one of the most emotional characters I've ever played. Had some really, really deep fucking moments. I love D&D. And
I know, same.
and I wore makeup for the first time for Ren Fair. And we did this like lovely like glittery fucking eyeshadow, and she like helped me put it on, and I made a flower crown by hand with like horns like connected to the wires and shit. And we went and had a great time at Ren Fair, and then I came back and we were having to like settle down, get makeup off and stuff, and it was when I was removing the makeup that I felt fucking sad. And started crying because I was like, I want this.
Yeah.
I like this expression of me. I like this side of me. And that started the ball rolling and started everything going after that. Of like, oh, it's not just like, oh, I'm gonna have makeup for fun. It's like, no, it's part of what allows more of like a feminine expression. Even though it is more like societally, like classically quote unquote feminine, but like, and to each their own, but it's what made me feel more so.
No, yeah. Yeah.
And gave that connection. And even to this day, like I don't do makeup very often, but like sometimes taking it off is real hard.
Have you ever done any of the like foily kind of like makeup here where it's like the flaky kind of gold kind of anything?
No, but that
I feel like
sounds
we're friends.
fun.
I need to send. I'll send you a few photos of telepath doing that. I feel like if or when you
Yeah,
guys ever PAX or whatever, I feel like if you
yeah,
want
yeah, yeah.
them to do it one day, like I feel
Please.
like you would look
Yes.
awesome because they can do eye makeup like a mother. I'm always like go for it, but they can
Yes.
do like the cut crease, and then I feel like some like flakes would look really cool, like because they do some
Yeah,
fun or like they'll draw on the freckles to like really make it. Yeah,
yeah.
I feel like you would look great with that. But
See,
no, I get that, and it makes me so
originally,
sad for you, but also happy you discovered that too. You know.
yes, same, same. And it's that moment of like, I don't have to suppress that.
Yeah, you
Like, I
know.
don't have to push that down. I can allow myself to be myself. Because I had a lot of fucking issues growing up and
I still have
suppressing
a
those
lot of
parts
fucking
of
issues, man.
myself. I mean,
Like,
same, same.
don't we all? But like, no, it's like it's
Um,
yeah.
It was so much suppression. It was so much like pushing it down. Like at one point when I was shortly after high school, like I think I was like 17 or 18 at the time. You know, there's that game that you play with people that's like that two truths and a lie bullshit.
Yeah.
Um my I thought I was the best at that game because one of the best things you can do with is take a truth that sounds like a lie
hmm
so that there's something to like throw off. And
Yeah.
my truth that sounded like a lie was I accidentally flirted with a gay dude in high school. And the story was I was hanging out with my friends because I was in the stoner group because they were the most welcoming and I was a lot of social issues. I had a really hard time in high school.
No, I
Really
understand.
fucking hard time.
Yeah.
They didn't care. They were too high to give a fuck. And so,
That's a good balance.
and right? I didn't do any of that stuff with them, but they didn't give a fuck. And so we had this one person come up who was like very much like theater kid, and he wore like this jersey, like a football type jersey, but it was Batman stuff. And it had like the bat symbol and like different numbers that were connected to like Detective Comics 27 and stuff like that. And I remember distinctly I put like a hand like up to his chest and I went, "Oh, this looks fantastic." Like just like directly in his eyes and he fucking blushes and shit. And I thought like I was making a joke. I was not joking at all. He was
No.
fucking hot. And
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
No,
was
feel.
not joking at all. That was not on accident. That is just
No, you're like, I meant
I did
that.
not have a
I
choice.
meant that. That was
Yes.
what happened.
Yeah. It's like, and then you go back and like there's moments where it's like, I definitely liked this person at this point in time, but I didn't let myself think it. I just happened to think that they looked cool.
I dude, I really thought I didn't have a crush on any woman growing up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then it clicked one day. I'm like, why do you always check her
Uh-huh.
Instagram now as an adult to see where she I'm like, oh, okay. Or
Oh.
interesting. It was
Yeah.
really I remember one time, I think it's also just to go back to like D&D, and again, like Borderlands queer and it's like a lot of stuff. Like every time people are like, whatever, like having these type of, you know, media or things you can do that does allow a lot of that just organically and like doesn't have to come from you like seeking it out or anything either, which is important representation and like these spaces to do it. But I feel like that's
Yeah.
so much of it because I even remember after I was like I like I was in such denial for so long. Like I remember being asked out by my high school boyfriend and going like, okay, good, that means I must also still like guys. Like it's fine. Like I just like because I didn't even admit that I liked women. Like I knew I did, but I couldn't
Yeah.
acknowledge
No,
it. It was like this weird like I kept getting in these
you can't.
situations where obviously I'm there and it still just like wouldn't be a thing. And so
Yeah.
when it started to become I remember I had moved in with my first roommate like right out of high school. I was working full time doing stuff and we were there and we were talking and we like kind of knew each other from like we knew of each other through mutual friends, but we like never really talked ourselves. And I remember it was the first night in our because we shared a room and then our other roommate that we got and it was so cheap at the time and it's so nice. I miss those days. Was another room, but we were like dividing this place and we're sitting there and both like doing that thing where you're like asleep, we were trying to sleep and like still kind of like hey you up kind of thing. And we hadn't ever
Yes.
really had any personal conversations. And she went, so what's something like no one really like knows about you, like something I haven't told. I was like,
These conversations.
I'm pretty sure I'm like bi, maybe yeah. I'm like
Yeah.
I've dated women, and I was like, what about you? Because it was like the first time I like out loud kind of was like whatever. Because I was always like cool,
Yeah.
and without hesitating, she was like, oh, this girl who I also knew and whatever is like,
Yeah.
oh, this girl and I dated all through high school and we broke up. I was like, what? And I just like sat up, and it was like we both were like kind of clocked it, but we didn't clock our, but she clocked way more than me. And it was one of those things where it was like seen, right? And so
Yeah.
we like talked about, but I remember we went to this Ingrid Michaelson concert, which is a very gay sentence of itself, and in Atlanta, and we're just like sitting there in the back, and Ingrid was playing I forget what she's even playing on stage at the time, but it was one of the solo runs, and we were sitting behind this couple, this lesbian couple, that I just kept watching. And it was like I couldn't see their face, I couldn't anything, but it was just like the leaning and like the like kind of hand, like stuff like that. I was just like one of those moments where you're just kind of surrounded in a room of different kind of spectrum kind of people and sitting there. And it was like such a moment of just why do I keep looking? Because it wasn't like a sexual, it wasn't any, it was just like kind of like just spotting, you know what I mean? And it was so weird. And I remember after a one night stand with someone, and when I was in Portland, and it was like one of the first just like random, like, you go on a date, it's fine, whatever, next morning never see each other, it's fine, right? But I remember they were going to work class or something, and they were taking the bus, and they were like, do you want to ride with me? I was like, cool, yeah, I'll do that. And then I was gonna, you know, take a little cargo thing and go home, and or I'll find the Max or whatever. And I remember she just kind of hold my hand on the bus, and it was like this first time, like, public anything, whatever. And I'm like, we didn't really have like a connection with anything, but it was just one of those moments where I was like, oh, that's what that's supposed like. And those moments are so hard to find when you're just like so like literally, like, it's just what we do to fit in boxes is just insane. And I'm just like, literally things like role play and D&D and video games and the character customizations in Cyberpunk or like whatever, like really do give people a chance to just like have that feeling for a second. And it's could do anything.
Yeah, in character customization of Wonderlands, I have one of the mask body types, and the like other 12 are found.
I love it, which is weird for me because
like,
I literally
a thing that like people can clock like early on. If you look at all of my gaming history, it's like, oh, I just wanted to be the female character.
They have better customizations
like,
and it's fun. And
I like how it looks. It just looks cool. And I'm like, no, you're fucking queer. Shut up. Like,
no, literally. I very much go back and forth. It's just one of those things where I think female V does a better job in Cyberpunk, honestly. I think she's just better.
I did Fem V as well.
But I first started with male V, and as much as I do really think the female V is the more interesting narrative, probably. And if you're looking at it through like a chemistry with her and Johnny, and like we already had Reese and Jack, like whatever, you know what I mean? But it's like we have that she's a phenomenal actress. Like there's so many moments that are just hit so much better, I feel like, with her performance than male V. I still, every time I go try to play the female V file, will go back to my original male V file because it just like feels like, no, this is. And every time I try to change how he looks, he ends up looking like he got a haircut and that's it. Like I'll be in there for like 20, 40 minutes, like changing little things. And then I come back and I'm like, well, now he looks dykier. Like it doesn't help. And then I have to like go back. And it doesn't work. And I go back and give him the same corporate fucking haircut. And I'm like, I can't help it. I can't help it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because it's a world of no consequence.
Yeah.
It's a world of no consequence. It doesn't exist. And if something goes wrong there, or if something changes there, then you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's not real. Whereas here, when you are physically here, things feel so much weightier, even when they're not. Like, I'm gender fluid right now. I can change whenever the fuck I want. It is my decision. Nobody else gets to fucking choose that for me. Nobody else gets to make that for me. It doesn't actually fucking matter. The only reason I use a label is in order to describe what is in myself to other people.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's still a physical space. This is still the flesh space. Whereas
I hate that. This is the fleshy part. It make you uncomfortable. It definitely did. It's like the word moist. Flesh is apparently a bad one. Bad texture word. Bad, too slimy, too. No.
I specifically came up with that term in the hopes that it would make some people uncomfortable.
The flesh space, it is cavernous and bad. I don't enjoy. That seems like the upside down kind of vibe. I don't enjoy it.
A little bit. It harkens to like Doom, like
literally.
But no, it's less real. It's a non-existent reality, and so
it's
there's
anonymous
no
at a point. Like it's
anonymous.
Yeah.
And
It's
even like
yeah.
if as I like go back through the history of like all of my characters and all of the ways I was different, like my first fucking D&D character was a female drow wizard, which by the way, terrible fucking like do not play a wizard for your first character.
I'm playing a wizard
Like,
for my first
I
character
know
because
you
I'm a
did
fucking
because I know your
idiot.
fucking brain.
I'm garbage. Listen, I am. You don't even want to
Same, I'm
know
the
the fucking
same
character I'm in. It
garbage.
is. It is a
Tell me,
problem.
tell me. What do you got? What do you got?
It's embarrassing.
No, hit me with it. I
So,
love it.
the backstory, the preface this with I'm a screenwriter and characters
Yeah.
that I write that tend to be main the main group. I
Uh-huh.
love ensemble pieces. I love whatever, but characters that either would be I would be in this role or like that more inspired role.
Yeah.
And the people throughout the story, like they all have issues. Like everyone has issues all the time. Like that's like it's a vibe of how I write. It's a style. I laugh because I go back looking through my characters and I see their self-destructive ways in a very specific way, and they all have
Uh,
some form of like
they have to
unintentionally
be.
brother issues. Like there's like always like some I
Yeah.
don't know why. It's like I didn't need to dissect that one because I don't have a brother. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what that is.
There's
But
there's always that little nugget of yourself that's there and
oh,
you
there
don't know
is.
why.
But like one of them is like
it's a trope.
really self-destructive, like
Yeah.
doesn't want the life she had, like, but doesn't, know what to do, depressed, the
Uh-huh.
manifestation of like that mental illness kind of like destruction,
Yep.
right? Another one
Yeah.
is still also that, but also very much like the perpetual, like you don't know what you're supposed to be and just keep aging and you just keep like
Yep.
doing new things and you just never feel like you're there an adult and you have so much resentment. Like the mommy is just kind of like whatever, right? Like it's very much she is this just constant wheel and it's
Yeah.
broken. And then I have the people that are very much I'm going to bury myself in very unhealthy coping mechanisms and like do this stuff, but like I need to be good at what I do, but there's all this other crap, right? So I have that common theme through
I
everyone.
love it so much. Yeah.
My
Yeah.
I
I feel
I
it so hard.
I
I feel
gave
it. I
this
feel it.
D&D character so much daddy issues that I
Yes.
literally don't know at what point it like literally the other day with like our DM was just like, I mean, maybe she'll get her daddy issues cured. I'm like, I don't think we see cure the same thing here. Like I don't think this is a possibility because I know that literally at this point, like say guns existed in the medieval world, like whatever, this man could probably take out a gun and shoot someone she loves and go, hey, I'm paying attention to you now though, come here, and she'd be like, yes dad, coming, like what, like it is like it is rooted. And she's a divination wizard who was about to be announced high seer to the king. Like it's in a place where magic's really outlawed. It's a divide between like wild magic and arcane magic. And she's
this so
in
much.
this. I know I fucking love it, dude. It's so good. But
It's so good.
in this world that the previous place was destroyed from like the war and the fallout of like Shar and Selûne and all this stuff. There are illegal gods and legal gods, whatever. And so telepath's playing a druid who doesn't have memory of how they got here, but these burn marks all over, who woke up in this city and is very illegal, whatever. I was a divination wizard, daughter of one of the high advisors who assists a lot on like war and figure out like all this kind of scarring and searing stuff, and needed to be heir to this family, and ended up becoming a mentor, or my mentor was the high seer to the king. And the day that I was about to graduate and like get like the pedigree, the permission to like practice and do all this stuff, I was about to be announced as the successor to him, to high seer. And that night, character had a vision of her drowning and him killing her and all this fire and destruction, and bolted and dropped out. And that is like we kill off our heir and find a new heir and quietly replace, because it's instability to the throne, right?
Yeah.
And so the campaign starts like 6 months after that, where she's just been like partying, drinking, doing everything, like whatever, just like like avoiding. Every night this thing comes to her, like she can't, whatever. And so the day the campaign starts, her place or whatever, she gets a letter from her father saying, I'm done with your antics, you were no longer my daughter. And she gets a note from her valet being like, you need to leave the city tonight. And now ambush drakes are tracking her down, and she runs into Telepath's character Druid, who has no memory of any of this stuff and is very illegal.
The amnesia, love it.
And yeah, and so, and we're unpacking all that now, but like as we go through, it's like the vision changing. Shar is like apparently like part of like all this stuff where she's like, oh my god, what if I was wrong? I need to contact him and like all this, like she's just like in the spiral that like
Yeah.
everything is everything's like but unable to see because she grew up in this like very focused like this is how it goes, that like maybe wizards are the bad guys here, you know what I mean? And so she's just
Yeah.
like went from having everything to now having fucking like she's just on the run, like so while Telepath's character is really like that trying to figure stuff out to get back to the life she had,
Yeah.
my character is very much like there is nothing after this for me because everything I do is like fucking illegal without this, and I'm going to be murdered for this, or I'm going to go like there's no winning here. And
Yeah.
so every time she like finally got to a safe place with friends, we're like, oh no, you're like outside here, like you can like just live, set up a life here. She's like, I don't what and do nothing my entire life. Like I can't. That's not like she's having this existential crisis about it, where we've gone to the point where anytime anything comes up, like literally in my vision, like Mentor finally said words when she was trying to tweak something, and I almost cried. Like I was just like, oh my god, this girl has a daddy issues. Like out the wazoo. And so it's now just a running joke where anything, it's like at any moment Telepath's like she's gonna betray her character because it's just like you're like sitting like I'll be like, oh no, she's fine, and then you talk about your character and what she's thinking, and I'm like, oh my god, she's gonna fucking like I'm like, you don't understand. I've never had someone that I've like ran that's been so desperately trying to like reclaim what she had in such a way because she was in such denial for so long that the moment she actually like these consequences like went in action, like all this stuff, it's real. And now the fact that she may have been wrong, like cannot comprehend the fact that even if she's right, like there's no way to go back. And she's like, I need to talk to him. I need to talk to him. I need to talk to him. And it's like you still have this vision of him killing you, and you're like, no, I need to go. And it was it was a whole thing. And literally she was trying to divine her dad who like has all this protection, whatever. But it was one of those things where he was just kind of like indifferent for what she could see. And I was telling RDM after, I was like, no, I know that literally when you said that and we're like, her father's like really she's out of the picture. But like when she pulled up these records, she's like not actually disowned from the will. Like she's been replaced as an heir with this new girl, but she's still on there. And like there was just something where she's just like, she's so focused on her mentor, which absolutely would get her fucked up because relationships. But like, I was like, literally all he has to do, like, could kill someone in front of her and be like, okay, fine, I'll talk to you. She would be back. And I don't think she knows that at all, but I know that. And that's fucking dangerous. And I can't explain how that happens. But that's the thing. That's the beauty of D&D. Like, where do you get to like, whatever.
There's
but
that and I think this right here is one of my favorite parts of talking to people about their characters, because it's like, well, this is what made them this way, this is their backstory, this is where they come from, and this is where they're fucking damaged.
Literally, this is where
trauma.
Dude, do you know what Telepath told me? Do you know what fucking I literally got so offended. I was, and granted, they're right. But literally when I was like, no, we're having like a panic attack right now. Like, so I'm sitting here doing my real life work. And then I just hear this character in the back of my head going like, okay, but like, what if I was wrong? Like, you probably weren't wrong. And that's probably just influencing you right now. And you're going to make a bad decision. It just eats it. And that's the thing. When I'm writing, I haven't had that feeling since I like last was working on a script, which has been a while since like COVID and everything else. And I'm like, but with that, I can sit down and write it out and be like, this is what I'm going to do with it. I can't do that when I am in the passenger seat of this thing. No. And so I'm just getting like woken up going like, hello, I have a thought here. What if this arcane focus actually is evil? And I'm like, shut the fuck up right now. I'm trying to sleep. And it's this thing. But I was talking to Telepath briefly about, just like, why she wanted to go back and have this life and all this stuff. And she's like, I don't think she wants to. I think she just like Telepath was saying, like, she thinks she just like never thought about anything else. And like, she just thought she was supposed to. And I'm like, no, she wants it. She genuinely wants it. Like, I'm telling you. And when I was talking, she just went, I don't trust you. I don't trust you, so I'm gonna betray her. And I was like, she's not going to, like, trust me. I was like, she's fine right now. She's just having a panic attack. She'll be totally fine. Yeah. When we play again, she goes, yeah, not after spending a week in your fucked up head. And I'm like, excuse me. She's like, you fuck up your children. My girlfriend said, you fuck up your children to me. And then I went, excuse me. And they went, am I wrong? And listen, it's true. It's true, which is why Handsome Jack has been too long in my head, where when people want to argue me about Handsome Jack shit, I'm like, I promise you, I've dissected every single thing we've ever gotten of this character forward and backwards. I know how he's damaged. I know where he's just a dick.
This is my favorite part of character analysis, and even more so when you're the one making the
Oh
character.
yeah.
It is that matter of having a separation of like, this is this character, this is their goals, and this is their stuff. And then when you hop into that suit, when you hop into that skin, into that character's mind, and you go with what they're thinking, there's things that in your head you did not realize. There are things that
Yeah.
you're not thinking are going to happen, and they do.
They just do
And
it.
things like surprise you do it, you become this entity. You invest into this entity, and then when you're away from the table, it is that entity. You're talking about them.
Yeah.
You're talking about them. You're talking about this character, whatever. Some people role play in third person. They say
Yeah.
like, my character, whatever the name is, says this,
Yeah.
which again you still haven't told me, and we'll get back to that.
Her name's Evan.
And
EVON. Evan.
Evan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evan
I
Kerrigan.
remember you saying it's embarrassing, and I'm not entirely sure what
It's
point of that was the
it's a lot of daddy issues.
Gotcha.
I told River Sam in my chat. I told a brief little like while I'm playing like a alcoholic heiress fawn whatever kind of thing, and like former rich girl kind of thing. And he's like, "Well, you're not supposed to play yourself." I'm like, "None of that is myself. Fuck you." But I get that. Fuck you. So I'm just like, I'm aware the things I am saying. Literally, I clocked easily, easily clocked.
You are absolutely supposed to play a part of yourself.
I was sobbing the other day in a session, like full on sobbing.
The best characters that you can become, that you can roleplay as, have part of you in them. And that's why I said earlier, I take an aspect of myself, hyperbolic amplification for that character, and then I run with it. However, then there's things that you just don't fucking realize until you're in the character.
Then the egg crack happens, and it's lovely.
Right. Right. But no, that's one of my favorite parts of like talking to someone who deeply cares about their character it is this whole world and this whole persona that they embody and they become, and they get into this mindset of, and it can be very intense at certain times.
This is why I'm intense
depending
about
on how
Jack.
you do.
Because I cosplay him, so I go around and it's like I'm as an actor. This is what actors do, though. Like this is where I get really protective of the cast and like stuff like that. Where I'm like, you haven't seen their performance yet. Like you don't know how into this they got, because like there are actors who phone it and whatever. But like when you're given a character, you bring that character to life because you relate to that character and you find the ways in these insane situations. Like when people play really good villains, it's not because they're a sociopath in real life. It's because they find a way in those extreme circumstances to relate to that and tell that truthfully for how they like bringing yourself to a role. That's why those are the best actors. That's why these people like knock it out the park.
You are you, and that character is that character. But when you embody that character and you put in the time and effort that it takes to fully explore what you are doing and allow that character to be that character through you,
without judgment, without whatever. Like this thing, if you're playing a shitty person, you do it without the judgment that they're a shitty person. And you find the truth in there and make it believable. And that's the whole thing. Nothing is believable if it's not rooted. And so it's not saying like, oh, well, this is like how people do it. It's not even a school of acting. It just truly, that is, people say acting's reacting. No, acting is fucking like getting out of your fucking head at a point, because you're in your head all the time. But it's being able to just like, if you can improv the character you're playing, you're in that character. And that's so much of like where we talk about cosplaying, especially walking around cons, where I'm like, I don't know, sometimes if people like expect like the Jack kind of dick energy, so I will gauge it. Normally I'm just like thanks or whatever, but sometimes if you can tell, they're like whatever, because otherwise if I'm just like, yeah, I know you love me, pumpkin, people are like, shut the fuck up, you know what I mean? So it's just like you have the balance.
There's differing
I'm not a method actor, but there is when you put that effort into making that character and understanding that character and putting it together and building it and anything like that, you feel that kinship there, and there's that protective nature of it. And that's why anytime people come in, I'm like, I know I'm really intense, like it's like something like this is my baby, but he's my baby, like that's like he's my fucked up baby.
I've put in the time and understanding to essentially embody who they are, to know their thought processes, to be able to figure out what's going on.
There's a Jack AI chip in my brain where when I'm streaming something and I'm just like, I want to turn this man off. And it's like that for so many of my characters, depending on like where I'm the ones that really have lived there for a long time. And I've done a lot of video game adaptation specs and stuff like that. So it's like they'll cycle in and out, but like it's the ones that stay, and that's the thing with like the D&D characters and like characters that you act, and like you see actors talk about like need to like wash off a character, or like need to like not, or the ones they really gravitate
Yep.
to that are really easy to like get into because they just know them so intimately and it feels good to return to them. Like all that is true. So when people are afraid to like, and it's not that people need to like role play and have voices and do stuff, but I think so many people are intimidated by
I have
D&D.
to, but nobody
No,
else
same.
has to.
No, same. I have to be screen
to.
accurate when I'm doing my cosplays. No one else I judge
Yeah.
ever, but me have to. That's what I
Yep.
have to be for my brain.
Yep.
But no, like I think people are so intimidated by the concept of like improv or this or not knowing what to do. I'm really overwhelmed because
Yeah.
this is my first thing trying to learn all the actual D&D stuff, especially again Wizard, where I'm squishy and have so many fucking limitations. And I'm like,
I was gonna say, so much of it is divided into the two worlds of role play and combat, and that's one of the great things about D&D is like once you roll initiative and start combat, it is a system of working through things.
Do you know
The
how
role play
often I
can
roll one
die
on
down a little
initiative?
bit.
Too much.
What was that?
I roll one on initiative so often.
Good.
I also have negative
Initiative is
one
not something-
dexterity.
Initiative is not something you need to win, you competitive little shit.
It is something I need to win when ambush tricks are trying to eat me in my sleep. I'm a competitive. Listen, I feel bad. Telepath literally fails every single roll to remember anything at all. And then so they're just like, oh, I'm crying because they can't get their character to remember anything. And meanwhile, I'm like, I'm going to see if I can cheat at this card game. Nat 20, let's go. And then it's like, I'm going to die.
It's always the things that don't need to be a nat 20 that are the nat 20.
And then I almost die in a mudslide that's supposed to be just a little quirky little thing.
Yes, as a dungeon master, I run with that and have so much fun with it.
Do you know?
That is my favorite moment. So like there was a point in time in the first campaign that I was running.
Yeah.
It was the characters' names were Alistair and Willow. And they went to like this tavern.
Alistair's Evan's father's name.
What was that?
Alistair is Evan's father's name, and my brain just
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Admus is the mentor, and Alistair is the father. I did not choose the name. There we go. I hate my life. Continue. It's fine. I just had a little moment.
Yes,
yeah.
Of course.
Little trauma moment.
And so it's a dragonborn and a halfling. Alistair's the dragonborn, Willow's the halfling. And they go and try to do like this dance in the tavern, like as the music is going. And I'm like, okay, would you like to roll one of you with advantage, helping the other, or would you like to both roll separate rolls? And like, we're going to roll separate. I'm like, fantastic. Roll performance. Willow rolls a nat 1 and Alistair rolls a nat 20. I'm like, perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. This is exactly what I want. And I will tell you right now, for those who have not played D&D, for those who are wanting to play or have seen other people play, rolling low and quote unquote failing a check is not a fail. It is a differing direction of a moment in time.
Sometimes it's a fail and you should be very upset.
Sometimes it is a fail and you should be very upset. However,
the game adapts. It knows you're going to do that. Sometimes you're like, it's fine. Sometimes the people
let me tell you,
rolling against you also roll bad.
The dice are just as much of the improv of the story as the DM is.
Yep. I love when it's like, roll me history check. Yeah, let's see how much you would know about that. And I'm like, 2. And it's like, yeah, you were really drunk that class, so you can't really recall what, like, you just see like notes go aside. Like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yep, don't worry about it.
I'll be like, there's bounty hunters after me right now. I'm like, okay, can I like perception check, see if I spot that guy's like, yeah, give me a perception check. And I'm like, 4. It's like, seems fine. I won't worry about it.
Yes.
Every time I'm like, cool, yeah, I don't know why I'm worried.
And that's the best part is like in that dancing scene with the nat 1 and the nat 20, I'm describing how this character is leading this dance and moving things along and essentially carrying the weight of this bumbling fucking buffoon as they're trying to like work together, and it works, and it builds that storyline as to what they're doing, and it builds that environment because things need to go wrong.
Yeah.
Things need to not be succeeded.
That is a
things
plot.
Need to be rolled low. It is a plot. It is a direction. It is a way to go. And even in the moments when you absolutely fail,
it's devastating.
It's so good to fail. It is devastating, and I love.
I see your DM face coming out. I know. I see. My favorite thing is when I'm playing, and then it's like, yeah, I'll open it. It's like, oh, you wanna open the letter? And I'm like,
you want to touch that?
Yeah, I do. And I see the face where it's like, okay, yeah. Yes. So just clarifying, did you wear your armor down here from? I'm like, did you wear your armor down here? I'm like, I know that face. I think they did. They wore their armor.
Yeah.
Yes, not me. I'm a wizard. I
Yeah.
get no armor. I'm a squishy little fucker with -1 dex. It's amazing. It's amazing. No,
Need armor
literally.
now.
So the thing, if you ever watch my streams, I am a little bad at doing side quest in specific
Uh-huh.
things,
Uh-huh. This
and
is where you and I are the exact opposite.
no, I understand. I understand. Also, you being a team, I get that. And I also haven't consumed a lot of D&D content until recently because Telepath was watching Critical Role while they were doxing for me when I was gone at a work thing. And now my entire YouTube,
Uh-huh.
because they're watching YouTube on my TV, is just Critical Role shorts and stuff like that. So, slowly but surely, it's just a lot to catch up on. But it's great when it's on in the background. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was going
Yes,
to tell you
it
about
is a
Mercer story
background.
earlier. Okay, I'll remember later. But literally I was told the other day that most D&D campaigns have like a bounty board kind of side quest thing, and she's not even bothering putting them in because there are ways to do it, but like the side quest, like a woman coming, like old woman being like, oh, help me find my sheep, I think there's a curse, whatever. She's like, yeah, I know you're not going to do any of them, so I just like find other ways to give you my, like, do whatever. I just like whatever. And I'm like, no, if you wanted to tell about, and then she's explaining to me the type of things. I'm like, oh, Evan won't give a fuck about that. Yeah, no, if it's not about her, if it's like, it's just like, yeah, I know
that
you,
makes
I know you. It's like, so I'm like, oh, so it's really catered to me at the point where I'm just like,
Yep.
plot, please, plot. But it's a problem.
When it comes to DMing, I believe in the term all thriller, no filler. Is
I need to be in a campaign with you, buddy. That's what I need. Fuck up my children.
Everything has to have some form of advancing something forward in some way or another, or you're gonna get fucking bored.
Yeah,
you're gonna get fucking bored. There can be side things, and I have one specific side thing that I will always have because I love it and it is my fucking jam, and that is a fucking fight pit, because fight pits are fun. I'm gonna let you gamble on your friends kicking the asses of other people, or of you kicking the ass of other people.
I love that.
But in terms of like side stuff, my side stuff is directly oriented toward the backstory of the characters at the table and moving forward their character development, which then has things that can lead into clues on the main thing. And I'm going to tell you a little DM secret. If the player thinks that this thing might be connected to something else, maybe it suddenly is.
I've gathered, and I feel that as a writer, like the amount of times I've like someone will read a finished script or something in production, and then like people will be like, I really don't trust this guy, and I'm like, I get that note a few times, and I'm like, okay, yeah, okay, that's cool. That's something there. Cool. Or like if people are like, oh my god, I just noticed a parallel here. I'm like, yes, that was intentional. Let's go. But like,
it's one of the other. Either I go full lean into it, or I entirely circumvent.
Yeah.
It has to be drastic. It has to be something that is drastic where you feel like you're a fucking genius because you figured it out first. And or you were so entirely wrong that you feel like shit for being mean to this person.
See,
if it does not have it has to have an emotional response of some kind.
That's fair. I just get TikTok DMs from my DM that are like memes of when the characters finally pick up something that you've been dropping for the last like 47 sessions kind of thing. That's just like, oh my god, it's like, yes, that's been there the whole time. I'm like, yeah, that's a Telepath is a big note taker, so like we will like stop and like very like note taker. I'm very much at like I have chicken scratch later that I will try to decipher after whatever for important things, but I will be like, what the fuck did this word say? But I'm very like, let me go. And so when they're taking notes and then I sit here and then like I like it's just such a weird, like it's a great dynamic, but it's like one of those things where like it's I feel like I either will assume something is happening or then I don't want to assume because I'm like, that's writer brain getting ahead of myself and like whatever and this thing and it's, but then I sit there and I go, oh no, I don't trust this. And then I'm like, no, that's just how you would write this. That's why that's there. Like all I want is for this bitch to be able to like go back to her life. That's all I want. Genuinely, that's all I want from this campaign. And I know that's not going to happen. That's not a plot. I need her to though. I need her to. Like that's all she wants and she's not cooperating with me otherwise. And I have no control over her anymore. And that's fine and dandy, but people people should just play D&D is my thing. Did you ever see the movie, the newer one?
Here's the hardest part is like play D&D, but like your experience is going to change so much
drastically.
Based on your DM and the players at your table.
And if you have a module or like a custom crafting campaign or something, which is why I'm really glad I started with Call of Cthulhu because it let me know the basics of like stuff, even if it was different, but it also was a safer way to like
I hate written campaigns. I write my own every time. So when it comes from playing to DMing, I played 2 sessions and then became a DM
Nice.
for 6
That
years
is a slippery
before
slope.
I played
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
No, like it was I played one character in one campaign that fell apart due to scheduling. Then I played another
That's so
character
sad.
for one session in a campaign and it fell apart and I was like, fuck it, I'll do it myself.
No, literally.
Because
Literally.
I'd wanted
Yeah.
for years and then was finally fucking invited and they were like, and we're not playing anymore because et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, fine, fuck it. I'll write it. I'll do the thing. And
No,
I
I
just
feel
wrote it on my own 'cause fuck modules. I like modules because they're very nice for people who are getting into it. Okay, to give you some backstory.
yeah.
I was the head DM for a comic book shop for 2 years for
Nice.
Adventures League. So
Nice.
I both read, play tested, and wrote parts for modules for D&D. I did playtest material. I was part of the Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica releasing. I was part of Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and they would give me these things that were written out, and I was like, this is going to fail here, here, and here. And this thing is overpowered here. This is an ability I refuse to use. This is... and I would put down these notes on the thing itself, and then I would run mine, and another DM would run theirs. They would run it straight to the thing. They would have a TPK, and then my players would have fun. And
hell yeah.
there are very few things in life that I'm confident about. DMing is one of them.
Yeah.
I have a lot of self-esteem shit. DMing is not one of them because I like what I do. But God, I just want to fucking play.
I feel that. I feel that.
I feel like I entirely derailed something you were saying for my own sake.
No, I wanted to hear everything you were saying. I was just ADHD brain thought. Oh, have you seen the newish D&D movie, the one with Chris Pine?
I have.
So I haven't seen it yet, but it's been big on Twitter right now for like, renaissance of if it dropped. That's why I hear there are some people who are just like against whatever. But I found out today that the fucking ending fight is literally done in initiative order with 6-second action sequence, and that is the most badass thing.
Okay.
I can't.
Not only is it done in initiative order in 6 seconds, it is. I sat there and watched it with friends on Discord.
Yeah.
And as the fight's going, I'm like, cast this, cast this, cast this, you do this, that's your action here, this is going, like, throughout the whole movie, based on visuals alone, I'm like, this spell is here, it's this level, this spell is here, it's that thing.
I saw people were saying you could tell if you played D&D and if you didn't, it didn't disrupt anything, but you could tell when dice rolls happen and what they got.
Yep.
Like, you could just really pick it up. And the only clip I've seen 2 clips, and one was fucking hilarious, and it was the one where he's doing I'm guessing the illusion of the bard, and his foot gets stuck, and I'm like, I feel that. That's me doing something perfectly. And it's like, wait, concentration. I'm like, nope, done. I'm done. But 2 was the whatever one where Chris Pine, it's the graveyard scene where he's like, so I have 4 more questions, right? And it's like that whole back and forth. Me in a campaign was like, the next word telling your mouth this message back, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay. Oh wait, shit, no, hold it.
Yep.
And I like every time I'm like, that is so relatable, so fucking so real. Good. And you just see that role and I get what people are saying, but I heard that I need to watch this anyway now that I'm getting into it. But the filmmaking standpoint of what it would be like to choreograph and block and film that scene in initiative order with reactions and attacks of opportunity and these, like, it's insane to me to think about what that choreographing was. And it makes me so happy.
Oh, absolutely. It's so cool. And like, it's really well done from a nerd standpoint. From like a screenwriting and movie standpoint, it's probably just like meh. But like, if you know the material and you're a fan of D&D, it's meant to be a love letter to people who love D&D.
Well, like, I thought the creators were D&D players, so I feel like from a filmmaking standpoint, it's probably really creative because of that. Because what I was saying is that they were, the people who play this game.
Yeah, and there's so much I want to say about it, but I know that you haven't seen it yet, and I do want to watch it. We also literally, it's been 2 hours. We haven't even talked to Cyber, like literally anything. So we're just being gay, and I love it. But we'll have to come back to, and then that way we can talk. I'll watch the movie, and then we can delve into all the other gay bullshit like Cyberpunk and Borderlands. Yes,
it's amazing though. It's amazing to talking about. Even I find listening to people talk about things that make them excited, even if I don't know what it is, I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where it's like, I wish pretty much everything I did, streaming, YouTube, D&D, all this stuff. I wish I started sooner because whatever
Yeah.
thing holds you back, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fine. And it just would be so different. And so
Yeah.
if anything, hopefully it inspires someone to just like be like, hey, who maybe plays or knows people or like find something or play Baldur's
Yes.
Gate.
Play
Something.
Baldur's Gate. If you like, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah. It's really well done.
I don't like top-down camera in
I don't
game,
like top-down camera or turn-based games, and I
and
love Baldur's Gate. It's so well done.
Baldur's Gate is one of my favorite games.
It's
Now, of
so
course,
massive. The
I'm
scope of it is
I'm a giant
insane.
fucking nerd, but like, and like I love D&D, so I went in knowing like, all right, here's what my character is like. I went through, I did like the normal difficulty or
Yeah.
whatever, and I had my team is myself, who is a drow by the name of Alia, which is the same
Perfect.
name that I gave to my first character,
Nice.
who was a drow, and barbarian because I just wanted to punch things.
A plus. I'm a dirge for my first playthrough,
Mac.
so there we go.
You did a what? You did a what?
I know, I'm an idiot. I know. And so when I fucking have you know the bit when suddenly you wake up and things have happened.
No. Well, yes and no, but I don't know. I haven't done any of the dirge stuff, nor have I seen it. I plan to. It's going to be very fucking hard for me because playing evil in games is so fucking hard for me.
Telepath told me to this. We were doing a co-op, whatever, and it's like one of those things where it's just like easy, whatever. So it's like if you want to not do one of the king characters, but whatever, do the dirt. Like I kept intending to do that. I'm like, okay, great. And there's a moment where long rest early on in the game, and then you're up when everyone else isn't, and things have happened, and I'm like, oh, I see.
I don't know anything. Oh shit.
It was a moment, but one of my things, the squirrel at the beginning.
Yes.
I literally just like saying, yeah, that asshole. I literally was like, just a very neutral response. I just immediately killed a squirrel, and I was like.
You fucking kicked it, huh?
Literally, it's like, oh, but now like you fucking like destroyed. She's like, oh, that felt good, and I'm like, stop. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh
I don't.
God.
I'm not in the driver's seat.
The voice acting
so good.
Baldur's Gate.
So good. The narrator is fucking amazing.
That sound I made.
That's a clip now. That's a clip now. No, that's a sound alert, Radine. That's a bit alert.
Oh, somebody has worse somewhere. I guarantee it. The voice acting in Baldur's Gate 3 is so fucking good. Like the narrator specifically, when you're talking about being like the dirge playthrough versus mine, like the subtlety between like your normal playthrough and dirge and like doing like more evil shit is such a little like twist.
Fantastic. It's so subtle, but so fantastically done.
Oh, I love voice acting. It's so good.
No, same. I was going to ask earlier if you dabbled in it or wanted to do it when you were doing your.
I want to so bad.
Yeah.
I want to so bad. Okay, so it's a mixture of a few things. It is the reason I own this mic is because I want to be a voice actor.
I love it. I love it.
Is
that the Shorus in 7B?
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Because I wanted the best thing. Like everything else, fuck it. But like this,
it's the microphone. It is the.
It is the microphone for a reason.
Yeah.
And like that's the most important part of my streams too. I'm like, audio has to be this way.
Oh no,
it has
for
to
sure.
Be specifically this. And like, so for a few years, I was a roadie. I worked at the Budweiser Center in Denver and a few other places doing the house mix for concerts.
Nice.
So I have experience in audio. And I play bass guitar and I sing and I play alto sax and I've been on stages for a bunch of other shit. I've like played Red Rocks and like I've done a bunch of like weird shit with audio, which I won't get too into. I want to do fucking voice acting so bad. You have no idea.
You should.
I want to. It's a combination of not knowing where the fuck to start.
That's fair.
Having all the resources online that I don't know which one to fucking listen to and what direction to go. And then the executive dysfunction of even if I knew where to go, I have such a hard time procrastinating and starting things that are for myself.
No, I feel.
So I legitimately like one of the things I needed to do was get testing for ADHD and ASD and shit, right? Which surprise is no one. Have.
Hi, that's me.
Hi, that's me. So I had the numbers to call for that for about a year and a half before I did. Had the things right in front of me and just wasn't able to do it. And that's part of the voice acting stuff is like I I'm a fucking little introvert, socially inept weirdo nerd that needs someone to hold their fucking hand. Like,
No, that's valid though. I mean, it's scary. Like, dude,
it's
people did not
scary.
understand moving to LA for acting when they never like. Because
Yeah,
I always want to act, and it was one of those things where like I could write by myself because no one could tell me
yeah,
like no with that. But like acting was
yeah,
something that parents and like whatever. And so when I
yeah,
was doing it, it was just like so foreign, so weird, and people don't know where. And it's really intimidating to be like, okay, well, what all do we need together?
yeah,
I will say all the really successful VAs and VOs I've worked for are very usually consistent what they say. Just start somewhere at that point, which I know is the worst thing for ADHD ever because I'm
right.
exactly executive
Fucking
dysfunction
where?
is the
Uh,
ruining of my life. But honestly,
yeah,
I know more than a few people who just started working because they made their own reel. And if you know anything about audio,
yeah,
that's saying most people have to hire it. Um
mhm,
if you just had someone write copy and or you did your own and like just made a different things put together, you could use that as a demo reel and go the
yeah,
rep route, and that's easier. Most everything, the baseline is join an acting class, even an online
yeah.
one, because they're going to have the resources too. Because it's not even like
Really?
when everyone's always training, everyone's doing something, it's always
Yeah,
whatever. But it's like you will have so much of an easier time finding that clear direction of like where to go in that network and what to do and like, nurturing that. It's one of the easier things to start because you're not like, oh, what profile do I set up? Do I do this? What's pay to play? Is that bad?
yeah,
Voices.com, how do I market myself? Like it's a whole different thing. And so there's some casting websites, Actors Access, and all the stuff that you can pay for Showfax for a year and like or submit per project that you can always find stuff and submit for. But if you have the audio experience, you're already ahead of the game because a lot of people who want to start VO, that's the first hurdle of not having clear audio.
yeah.
And even if it's just buying like a Amazon lavalier, like you don't have to like start with the Shure SM7B and Go XLR or whatever.
Hey,
But like it's
it's the
great for it's
ADHD
but
fucking
no,
all
I
or
feel I
nothing.
for a
Yeah,
while until I got the Beacon, I was like, that is the same, that is whatever. And now the mixed create, I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know how I live without you. And so it's one of those things where which this arm is the sexiest mic arm I talk about all the time. I fucking love this mic
So
arm.
good. I
But
need to like look into it and get it because like I've got the fucking Gator frameworks
yeah,
and I have to keep fucking like pulling that shit out like this. Hold on.
this
This fucking
no, I understand. No, absolutely no, absolutely no, absolutely no. This mic
ah,
arm, this is not a paid advertisement. The Beacon mic arm
it's
is
just
one of
us
their newer
talking.
offerings. This is us just talking. They have a black one and a
Yeah,
white one because they have a black and white setup. I got the black one. They sent me a black one when like we
yeah,
started being texts. They're like, hey, we have this coming out soon. Is that like, do you want to try it? I'm like, yes. Genuinely obsessed with it. Like I show it off
yeah,
on work calls where I'm like, no, you don't
yes,
understand. And I've gone through like you. I was like, okay, I need this for my setup. I need whatever, but it's low profile. I've never had an issue with it. I can like do the raisy, whatever. It has like the built-in thing here for your chords. So it like just like sneak and right
yes.
down. I've never had an issue with it. I've never had to readjust like the back end of it. I've never anything. It actually raises up, forward, backward, side, like what it does, whatever. And it fits other microphones and it can be still.
Yeah.
I've never had a single issue with it. And I used to have so many issues with my mic arms. And I tried a lot of different ones and I wrote for a lot of big audio companies and did their marketing and stuff like that. I don't know what they did to this mic arm. Like literally birthed by angel. Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
I love it. And people don't get how I'm passionate about a mic arm, but I'm like, when you used to spend an hour being like the stream wrestling with setting up audio to go from a PlayStation to a Mac to whatever, to then when you move to PC and you have this and you need whatever, I would always be late for stream, and which is how line time became a thing because I would go to stream and my audio would be so like resynced or fucked up or like whatever and be like, hold on, I have to like redo all this. And then where do I put the mic arm when I'm doing it over here? And then it's always been a thing. And so having something that was just like, oh, you do exactly what I want you to do when you do it. And I've never had an issue with you and you're pretty and you're low profile and it's fantastic. Oh my God, I'm obsessed. She is the one.
I'm obsessive about my audio. Like
Yeah.
like I've got in OBS I've got every single individual audio source like spaced out and put to specific levels
Not to
and like
convert
it's
you.
gotta be
Do you want so the Beacon Mix Create? You don't even, like not the software that comes whatever.
yeah.
I was the same. I have all my audio sources in OBS. I have that, but I always tab out because I always get really picky, like whatever. This little machine, this little motherfucker, this little thing. I don't understand. I don't touch a single thing on any of my settings. Everything is just 100% all the time on the computer. And then I adjust it on here in the knobs and I just have to tap it and it's muted. I have to tap a button and I hear what other people are hearing. I can play music for myself and not for everyone else. And it doesn't end up in the VOD. I can do it for both if I want. The sound alerts, everything. And now the only source I have in OBS is the audience mix and VOD track, both of which are 100%. I've not had to ever change any audio setting again because I can just tweak it all here on a knob on the go and like quickly mute or swap. And it's the sexiest thing in the world.
Yeah, I've got similar but not the same. I've got part of that set up on my Stream Deck, and I've got a Focusrite Scarlett i2.
Nice. My Stream Deck wasn't as good for me with it. I love my Stream Deck, but it's mostly like great, it wasn't great for that. I don't have the knobby one, but like it didn't too many load and then go and it disconnect. Like, you know what I mean?
I've got the XL, the like 32 button.
Yeah, I've thought about upgrading this one because I just like
I just recently got it fucking Christmas of last year, December. But even so, like I also like seeing all the little sliders because I'm a fucking
no, it's fun. It's the audio brain. It's the tactical. I
want it in front of me. Like because again, I've messed with like full fucking boards of like actual like sliders and mixing and
well also when you already know what you're doing, you like that's the thing, like you are an audio engineer, so it's one of those things where it's you already know what you're looking at and how to like which is a hurdle because the amount of times I've lost in YouTube just watching different audio video after audio video and I still can't figure out the exact little thing that I want that I can't figure out how to work because it's all too general to whatever, and I'm like hours days like just
I had to. So like originally I grew up with my brother who is a guitar player.
Nice.
Ridiculously so. He's done a whole lot of shit. He's been playing since he was 2. Like legitimately picked up a guitar at 2 years old and has not stopped playing and plays every instrument I've ever seen him touch. In person, I've seen him play trumpet, cello, banjo, guitar, mandolin, drum set, percussion, piano.
My high school boyfriend was like that. I don't understand.
It's honestly a little bit of the tism in a certain direction.
Oh yeah.
And so like this is one that he and I acquired together that I have like hanging up. Ooh. It's just like fucking beautiful.
That is
doing
gorgeous.
Some like backstage work and shit. This is Katie.
I love it. I love it. She's very pretty. This is an electric guitar for people who can't see.
I just realized this is a blue electric guitar covered in a bunch of signatures of a bunch of different fucking people. My brother knows them. I don't. And and it is fully strung. And so like, I don't know how to play this. I do know, however, every single string. I know how to tune it. I know how to restring it. I know how to do all of the internal electronics. I know how to set it up and make it sound exactly like it needs to.
You know the aftercare.
I know the aftercare because I had to do it for his shit. Because he would literally roll in with a thing called an Axe-Fx, which is a whole fucking rig with like a 4x12 speaker and a head. Like it was like 400 pounds of shit. We would fill the back of a Ford F-350 with the fucking camper shell on.
Yep.
For musical gigs and shit. And I'd be the one setting things up. And if things went wrong, he would fix like things on stage, but I would fix things back. Yeah. So like he had like a string break on stage. He'd grab another guitar, signal to the back. They mute his shit. He plugs in, goes, hands me the guitar, I'll restring it behind him. Like
that's sick. That's sick. That's really sick.
No idea how to fucking play it.
I always tried, and like I think it's the RA and some other like I just like I can't.
It's the tiny strings. It hurts my hands.
I like literally my hands aren't big enough, and that's the thing. I'm like, you have rheumatoid arthritis. There has to be a point. Like you can't, which is why I started playing banjo, and I just dropped it for 10 years. So I'm bad at it. I can't do it anymore. But like, I literally want to play it so bad. I was like, this is what I want to learn, and I could not do it.
Yeah, but
it's amazing.
All that to say, I like audio. Audio is fun.
Audio is sexy.
There's so many like. It's just bright and shiny and all the buttons.
And so
know what all the buttons do.
Listen, I always say audio makes or breaks stuff when people are always like, oh, we'll fix audio in post, we'll do this. I'm like, no, you won't have a product. Like it literally fucking matters. And
not
yeah.
only do I have the SM7B, I'm running the SM7B through a cloud lifter into the
Of
interface as
course you
well.
are. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Like
Why wouldn't?
that's
Because if you don't, it doesn't sound as good.
no, it
Like,
doesn't. And so you hear people like go on YouTube and they're like, this
yeah,
mic actually doesn't sound good. It sounds exactly like this plugin. I'm like, no, because you're not okay.
no,
Like
because you
it's
didn't set it up right.
same. Don't even get me started on Blue Yeti. If you have a Blue Yeti
Oh
Snowball,
yeah,
I'm not judging you. It's fine. I get it. It's a thing.
it's a
But like
great entry piece.
yes, Logitech has gutted a lot of it. Used to be much better than it is now. There's just talk to any audio person about it and you'll see rage flicker in their face and then they'll be nice about it. But nothing wrong with it if you make it sound great. I'm so glad it works for you. The amount of times I had to like help people with like reels and stuff like that when it's just like that I'm like, please any even a lavalier would be better right now. Like any
Yeah.
yeah.
It was there was a buddy of mine who was streaming who was doing like horror type stuff,
Yeah.
and he would get very like quiet where he's just kind of chilling and then suddenly fucking scream, and there's like a 15 decibel fucking range to where you can't hear what he's saying unless you turn
Yeah.
it up, and then your ears are gone. And I'm like, homie, let me touch your stuff.
No,
fucking
please.
move, put a compressor on this at minimum. And I did, and he was like, oh, people are so much happier. I'm like, no shit, like, because you're
No.
not destroying their ears.
No,
Like,
literally. It's okay. If you ever find yourself wandering LA and here, feel free to come break in and like change my audio to whatever the fuck you want. Because like if it just sounds perfect, I'm like, great. But I'm sitting here, I will obsess over it for days and lose
Yep.
time because I'll end up going back to where I started because then I won't know where like it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I still
that's the
know
other
what I
thing.
don't like about it. And then it just is a
Yep.
whole thing.
And that's the other thing is like I know there's stuff I want to change about my own constantly. If I obsess over it, I will tweak it until I fucking pass.
Ruin.
Like it
No,
will be
no,
the
same.
end of time and I will still not be done.
No, same. It's the whole tech thing that if you wait
Yeah.
till you're perfect to launch, you're not launching it too late. Like it's yeah. So I've had to be like, don't touch it now. But I'm sitting here going like, oh my God, but I feel like I just sound so thin and then it's this and then whatever and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, stop it. No one fucking cares anymore. I'm like, I care.
Yeah. As long as you hit a certain, that's the worst part is like that moment of like an eye for perfection and detail. And this was something I remember in your previous podcast you talked about with FaZe, with FaZe Night, talking about like cosplay details.
Oh yeah.
Where like there's tiny things that have to be screen accurate. Other people don't care, but you know that it's there.
I know it's there.
You spend hours poring over these pictures, these references, these things that are there in order to find these small
I've stared
details.
at Jack's
And
ass a
even then
lot.
you find weird. What was that?
I've stared at Jack's ass a whole lot and too much.
Same, but I don't cosplay.
Yeah.
And
it's jokes on us. He doesn't really have an ass. He has a very tiny butt. And it's I make fun of it all the time in pre-sequel, but very tiny butt.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
All booty, good booty.
It could probably handle a quarter on it. It's fine, like it's probably this man clearly invests in his appearance. I mean, he gave himself chin filler, so
That's just the audio side of things. I love characters. I love voices. I like doing different, like I do things like impressions and then I do my own characters. So like when I DM, because like we're pulling a bunch of different things. When I DM and I have NPCs, every NPC has a voice. Every single one. It has to, because if it doesn't, then who is it? Like if it, and like I won't get them perfect and I'll change them and mix them up because I play like 2 lines here, 3 lines there. There's 2 NPCs that are fucking constant and their voices are exact and I know where they are. And then everything else can shift a little bit over time. And even amazing voice actors like fucking I hate pointing it out as like, oh, the quintessential, because some people get all upset about Matt Mercer. I know. I love him. He's fucking amazing at what he does. He's the quintessential for a fucking reason.
No, he's fantastic. It's like Troy Baker. Yes, Troy Baker's and everything, but it's because he's fucking amazing.
Look at his Pumat Soul when he first gets introduced, and then when he's in one of the later on scenes. I don't know. I don't think you're very far in Critical Role, but
no, but I'm sure it will be on my YouTube Shorts because it does not care what part of it.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different.
No, things evolve.
Things because you're spending so much time going through so many different characters and different voices, you're going to fuck them up a little bit. Like you're going to have something a little bit different change when you fucking voice 100 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. He'll like when he gets embodiments of like a dragon and gets like so low and like sin it.
You have to fucking go for it. Like the only way that I can do voices is if I'm moving my body.
It's a thing. Even when I talk people through Southern accents, it's very much like it matters like where your mouth is. But like that's the whole like one of the tricks they teach you early on and like NAVO stuff is like in the acting warm ups. It's like where if you take a song, like jingle bells or like anything, and it's like depending on this is where you're talking now. So like just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting tingling too, but then say it with the front of your mouth, and then it's just hear those sleigh bells jingling, ring ting, and you like feel where those
Yeah.
voices so people can access because they've never tried
Yeah.
to like be like, how do I access like okay now do the just hear those sleigh bells jingling, and you don't realize that's like
Yeah.
how that
And
works.
it's an amateur.
Yeah,
It is legitimately a muscle group because, like, so I've got background in both choir, like singing,
yeah,
and vocal work in that,
yeah,
and with alto saxophone, and so
yeah.
like moving muscles very specifically.
French horn. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, French horn, you pretentious fuck.
yeah, that's
I
me.
say that with love. I don't.
No, that's absolutely me. I played French
As a
horn
band,
because I'm a pretentious fuck. I 100%. Yeah. Again, if when I'm clocked, I'll call it out. Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly. I have an Aaron Sorkin tattoo. Okay, I have a
fucking
West Wing tattoo. I'm a pretentious asshole.
band kid to band kid.
Yeah, no. You said also sex. I'm like you horny bastard. So
Yeah.
like it's you know
Yes,
it's yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Like, listen, there
Fucking
are
yeah.
stereotypes for a reason. If someone in my
We
chat
call
is
it.
like, I played the clarinet, I'm like, of course you play the clarinet. Like, I
course you
just
do.
know. I know.
Oh God, we had in our band, we had an oboe player.
We had an oboe player in concert band
You
and
know
a bassoon
exactly the
player.
person I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about.
No, yeah. Yeah. We had an oboe player in concert band and a bassoon player in concert band, but of
Oh,
course not in marching bands. And then they had to like transfer to like
yeah.
baritone and piccolo, flute kind of thing. You just like,
You know,
you know.
you've got your goods and your bads, but you know
I
what I'm
started
talking
out a
about.
trumpet player before because you can't start on
Yeah,
French horn. So like, my sister was
yeah,
trombone and French horn. I was trumpet
um,
French horn, which also
yeah,
feels like exactly correct. Like that
yeah.
doesn't, yeah. No, give me the time capsule. Give me the 5 games.
So there's one that like there was one particular game that I knew for a fact had to go in there, and that's why it's waiting, and we're not talking about it yet.
Okay.
And so, first thing, I mean, fucking between the two of us, it's an easy choice. You know exactly my reasoning. Baldur's Gate 3. It
Yeah.
has to be. It
Yeah.
has to be. It is a stupidly massive game with an insane amount of choices, an insane amount of freedom, an insane amount of different builds. Like, it is a game you could literally play for years
And it's
and
still
get
getting
different
updates.
things constantly. And it's still getting updated because the dev team is fucking incredible.
And they have a
Like,
modding community. Like there's so much,
yeah,
but people are still discovering
like,
paths.
you know,
It's
and
insane.
like, do you know like how Larian got the ability to do Baldur's Gate 3?
How?
Because they made Divinity.
Oh,
So there's a game series called Divinity Original Sin,
yeah.
and it is the best D&D game that has come out that isn't a D&D game. And so there were people at Wizards of the Coast who said, "Hey, Divinity Original Sin is a better D&D game than any of the games we've made. Give it to the people who are doing it." And so Baldur's Gate 3 is made in the Divinity engine that Larian made.
Amazing.
It's legitimately made in
Amazing.
the same game engine. They just gave them the IP and just let them say, they just said, go for it. Like, here's the funding, here's the stuff. Like, you know what you're doing very clearly.
That is fantastic. And deserves
they
to be in
have
the time
such a
capsule.
love.
It's
Yes.
truly a massive game.
It's a massive game. It's a work of love. It is a work of passion. It is legitimately the closest thing, because I don't believe any game is perfect,
Yeah.
personally, because I think there's always going to be
Portal 2.
something that can be changed. Portal 2 is close.
Portal 2 is perfect. Incorrect. Incorrect answer.
I'm
it's okay.
sorry.
It's okay.
I
We're
know,
all wrong
I've heard
sometimes.
you say this so many times.
It's a perfect
and
game.
every time I've heard it, I'm like, you're close. No, but ridiculously, insanely good. I absolutely adore it. I love it. There's something there for almost everybody. Obviously, people are subjective. Like, some people are going to not like it, and that's okay.
But I know
But
plenty
it's
of people who don't
stupidly
play
good.
D&D who do enjoy it still. Like it deserves its place in the time capsule. It does.
Absolutely. The next one is a personal choice, because with so many like big games that are meant to be played very seriously and paid attention to and just focused on, give me Spyro Year of the Dragon.
Hell yeah.
I don't want to think. I don't want to have to I don't want to have to sit there and think through story and dialogue and my choices. Give me a collectathon that lets me run around and be a little dragon boy and
Spyro also
flame.
fucks. It's fantastic.
Spyro fucks. I love Spyro.
Yeah.
I did choose what Spyro I wanted. Year of the Dragon's my favorite.
No, absolutely.
Year of the Dragon's my favorite. And this was a slot that I debated because, like, again, my anxiety would never let me not prepare.
get sprung.
And
yeah.
This was a slot that I mixed with Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Up Your Arsenal, Going Commando, Rift Apart. If you haven't played, oh my fucking god, Rift Apart. Tony Hawk 1 and 2, American Wasteland, Sly Cooper. All of those are honorable mentions for this slot in particular. But if you're gonna have a game that's just fun and enjoyable and silly and doesn't require you to take it too seriously, Spyro Year of the Dragon.
A+.
Literally accessible to anybody and everybody at any point in time. Next up, let me see, making sure that's 2. Got it. Making sure. This was one I had a really hard time selecting, right? So I've got 3 games that I was going to put into this particular slot. And he was either going to be the BioShock collect. Okay, I'm the kind of weirdo that likes to not weird. I'm the kind of person that likes to be like,
you're gonna cheat and it's a collection.
I'm gonna cheat. I'm like, how can the genie give me more wishes?
Yeah, no, I get it. I feel that's a wise choice.
How can the genie give me more wishes? So it was between BioShock collection, because that story is just so good.
BioShock, my love.
Oh, I know. I managed to play that within the last year and a half or so without being spoiled about anything, because I'm very particular.
I will talk very
spoilers.
Openly about BioShock plot, and then the moment I find out if someone hasn't played it, I shut the fuck up about it. I'm like very much like, nope, because if you've made it this far without getting, it's like a Sixth Sense kind of thing. If you made it this far, like, no, you need to experience that.
I'm so intentional about avoiding spoilers for things that I love. So like BioShock 1 and 2, I played Infinite before because it was not. I tried playing BioShock 1, got weirded out before I even hit the water tunnel because I'm a wuss with horror.
It's very, it feels much more horror than the others do at that point. Yeah.
And so I avoided spoilers for that, and I avoided spoilers for the entire Mass Effect trilogy as well.
Ooh.
And played that within the last year and a half. I'm very particular about spoilers. I've got certain news outlets blocked on social media because they put spoilers in their titles.
I love it. No, that's why I'm so rabid when anyone brings, even if I mention the words Last of Us, I'm very much like, again, disclaimer, I don't care what you want to talk to me about, DM it to me, like whatever. People in the chat haven't played Last of Us 2, they haven't seen Last of Us 2, you're not talking about Last of Us 2, don't even hint. Because I'm just like, I don't trust people. Like, let people have that fucking experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's between BioShock Collection, Pandora's Box Collection, because if I'm going to include Borderlands, why not just give the whole shebang in one? Give
the whole thing in there, it's fine.
Wishes. And then lastly, Persona 5 Royal, because like Persona 5 has just a grip on my heart between the gameplay. I had no idea when I played it
till I played it that it was one of the longest games in history. Like it is.
It's one of the longest, really.
Mm-hmm. It's like 147 or whatever to complete. Like it's like literally. Yeah.
For like normal run through, Persona 5 Royal took me like 140.
Yeah. It's like I think it was 145, 147, which at the time was the longest game made.
Wow. Yeah, the only thing I've done more than that in one playthrough was Baldur's Gate.
110 technically. Yeah. Or whatever.
Yeah. 110 before Royal.
Yeah.
Because Royal added a lot. But I love Persona 5. It's so good. And it's really hard to choose between those 3. Because it's to the point that like Persona 5 is the only physical soundtrack I have like on my person.
It's a great soundtrack.
It's so good. But like I'm still debating between those. I gotta go Persona 5 Royal. I'm sorry. It just has to be. It has to be
edging out BioShock and the entire BioShock collection and the entire Borderlands collection. That is a statement.
And the entire Borderlands collection, yeah.
In fairness, Persona people would agree. Persona's a massive game, and it did win me over, clearly. Like I cosplay now, but like it literally took a while to get into because it is so like if you don't know what you're doing and one of those things. And I make the mistake because it's on Switch for me. I own on other things too, but I started getting into it on Switch. Is like I'd play this on a plane and then you get really tired and then it's a whole thing. So I played in little chunks rather than just sitting down and playing it. And so once I did that, when I was like, okay, let me see. And then I was like, okay, now I'm doing this for 12 hours.
And this can be discussed further, but my obsessiveness with games is that I cannot move to another game until the one I'm playing is finished.
Oh, I wish I need to do that more because then I like then that was what you were doing.
It. Yeah.
Love it.
And Persona 5 Royal beats that, and it feels weird to have 2 turn-based combat games on the list. Like I was thinking about going
different. They're
genres,
different,
like, the story is ridiculously good. The voice acting is ridiculously good.
The soundtrack,
game is what put Robbie Damon in my brain as a voice actor.
Nice.
He's
Yeah.
insane. He does Goro Akechi,
Yeah.
and that is some of the most like emotionally charged, expressive voice acting I've heard in any game ever.
Yeah.
Like, he's ridiculously good. And then when I saw him go to EXU with Critical Role, I
Yeah.
fucking lost my shit. So what's that? That's three. That's three. Yes. Okay, the last two. One, which is immediately had to go on the list, just had to happen, and then another one that had to happen because this one had to happen. Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
Oh my God. Okay. I've
Ocarina
heard
of
so
Time.
many good
And
things.
now
Yes.
people would be like, "Oh, Ocarina, yeah, it's amazing. It's got great. It's one of the better, like, more quote unquote open worlds. It's still pretty linear, but quote unquote open worlds. It's got dungeons which are great. It's got a story which is great. All of these things are fantastic. Here's what it has that no other game has: Z targeting.
Okay.
Ocarina of Time is the first 3D game to introduce locking onto a single combat target, which has then been used across almost every
Yeah.
third-person action game since.
Yeah.
It is the development, it is the start, the beginning of something that defined everything that we have played since then to this point, to a
Yeah.
certain degree in that genre.
No, that's absolutely accurate. That's absolutely true. I can't think of many, like even like Kingdom Hearts has like that kind of like, it's very, yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, Dark Souls, God of War, like every third person action game is based on a system of lock on, block, dodge, attack. And that started with
Yeah.
Z targeting.
I love
And
that.
it was nailed that time and has been used ever since. And for that reason alone, it needs to be on the list. Let alone the fact that it's amazingly drawn. Like the backgrounds are
Yeah.
fucking beautiful, and like having that mix of 3D and 2D in some of the shops where you're literally running on an art piece, and the score is fantastic, and the characters are fantastic, and the twists are fantastic, and the story is amazing, and then it defines an entire genre of gaming for decades.
So Nintendo, what I'm hearing is you need to hire Hawkinaround for your marketing promo. Hi, man. Like selling me on Zelda games more than I've ever told.
Really? Perfect.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah.
And now here's where you may or may not agree with me, because I know you're not a huge fan of the whole like genre of what they do. Bloodborne.
Okay.
Bloodborne. I know
Okay.
you're not a huge Soulsborne
But
fan.
I can listen, it's because I just haven't fallen into it. It's the accessibility.
That is fair.
And something I would enjoy,
I agree.
but it's something that I could see myself getting into under the right circumstances. But again, it's like something that was like get kept and overwhelming and just not the thing, like whatever. But like that, I could see me getting really into it. It just on its surface isn't the thing my brain goes, ooh, I see. You know what I mean? But I get it being on there, and the arguments I've heard for it would, I think if you're putting it in, if we're looking at this as like time capsule here, so there's hero video games, I get that being in there.
Well, and I'm going to go even deeper. I'm going to go more. First off, I would love for it to be more than locked at 30 FPS. Please fucking remaster this game. It can be hard since it came out so long ago, but
yeah, I'm sure.
The art style of this game is horrendously beautiful. It is such a gory horror fest of weird amalgamations of limbs and flesh and terrifying bits that you then feel able to conquer and fight.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it feels overwhelmingly powerful. But then when you win and when you are hunting it and when it is your prey, that overwhelming power is now yours.
Amazing.
The feeling of beating those things is so good. And the other reason, like the biggest reason I put Zelda and then this is because you see the evolution of Z targeting. You see where it started, and then you see one of the better examples of what it has become. Because in essence, Soulsborne games are just harder Zelda.
Okay, see, now I'm being sold on both Zelda and maybe Souls, maybe trying a Souls game.
Essentially, it's timing, especially with Bloodborne.
Yeah.
And I say Bloodborne over Dark Souls because I like Dark Souls. I enjoy it. I did not like 1 or 2. I liked 3 quite a bit, but Bloodborne specifically is a change in the formula in that it actively tells you to be aggressive. You
Yeah.
don't be patient. You have to be actively fighting and hunting and being the aggressor. Like there's the mechanic of when you get hit, you've got a little bar that then when you hit back, you gain some of your health back, which is
Yeah.
great. There's one shield in the game, and that shield is so shit that the entire point of that shield is to show you that you can't use that shield.
Yeah.
The entire point
That's
is to tell you that you
amazing.
can't fucking block.
Listen, I'm a sucker for any Sony exclusive or like made for PlayStation kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
they generally really hit just because the way they usually approach narratives in third person or like things like they're just something that like works really well for like my type of brain. I have it. I have it because I think it's on PS Premium or PS Plus or whatever the fuck I call it now. Like I think I own it, but like
And
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Oh, of course. Pretty much most people with a PlayStation own it at this
oh yeah,
point.
at
Even
this
if they
point it
didn't buy
was what 2015 or something
Uh,
like that. Like yeah, it's
I
like
think it was earlier. I don't. Maybe 2014. I'm not entirely sure.
either way, early PS4
It's
days where it's
getting
just
there.
like yeah, it's
But
time
like,
makes no sense.
it has a narrative that you can follow that is vaguely told to you. However, most of the narrative in the lore is hidden, and you have to find it, and you have to search for it. And for a person that I know is a lore-heavy individual,
Hey, listen, if it would make me do side quests because I have to go search for the lore, fine. You know what I mean? Like if I
honestly,
can
it's
get
more just
rewarded.
reading items than anything else.
I know, and that's the
Honestly,
thing. I just
now, some of it can be just kind of thought of when you like go past things, and there are hidden mechanics that the game will never tell you. I personally really enjoy watching Vati videos
yeah.
because they do such a great fucking lore breakdown, and I do not have the patience to look for lore in Bloodborne.
No, that's the thing. I think it's a game where if I
Um,
ended up enjoying it, I would go look up all the lore about it
Yeah.
and then be able to make
Oh,
myself go
yeah.
find it because then it'd be like, oh my God, so cool. You notice it. But like if I have to search for it, I'll get frustrated if it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
You don't have to search for it. It does not impact the gameplay in any way.
No,
shape,
but if
or
I have
form.
to, if it's not going to reward me with the lore on its own and I have to like, it's like difficult to find rather than just like you stumble across it, it's going to be
It
annoying.
rewards you with some of it. It teases you, and I know that like.
You know,
I
it's
saw that the page just
we're
dropped.
reverting a little bit, but I still I trust this. I trust this,
Regardless.
and it's also like it is rewarding to like beat something that is like whatever. And I
Again.
have heard Bloodborne is one of the more forgiving ones of that kind of like Souls like kind of like
is.
yeah.
Not only is it more forgiving, I had my brother play it.
Yeah.
He's not the biggest gamer. Like his stuff is music, my
Yeah.
stuff is gaming. He's somewhat proficient in gaming, and I'm somewhat proficient at music.
Yeah.
I know his shit, he knows my shit, not enough to be better than the other person at it. We have
Yeah.
our own shit.
Yeah.
And he, who does not like punishing games, who does not like Dark Souls, had a fantastic time doing so, and said that playing Bloodborne made him better at playing other video games.
I could
because
believe
of
that.
how it
Yeah.
teaches and forces the mechanics on you.
I could believe that. I really
And
could.
again, when it comes to accessibility, having like difficulty stuff, because I've heard like your opinion based on other things.
Yeah.
I entirely agree with you, and I think that that needs to have that because
Yeah.
I think that accessibility is important for gamers. Also, I want to be able to fucking pause my Soulsborne games.
That's
I
the thing.
swear to God.
That's the thing. It's a
That's
it's
the one
just
thing I
like
hate about it.
it's things like that where it's very much like
But-
I remember PS2 days where it's like I'd be yelled to come down to something as a cutscene you couldn't like pause in or like something that like you were not at a point where you can save and you would just lose everything and you know whatever. And it's you know things like that that like come up to it and I feel like things like Bloodborne, like I get the argument for like, no, but it's hard and like whatever, because it's like there's going to be a base for that. But bringing that in every game is where my line is. Like, I think in general, like have it do whatever, put the slider. But like, if that's what you want your game to be, that's what the game is. Like, that's fine.
Yes.
But it's this people getting mad when it's like not a, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? You've heard this rant. So I'm just like, it's, I can see, I get the option not being available for something like this, but also like, I think it could be cool, like to open it up to more people. But if you don't want to open up more people, fine. You don't want to open up to more people. Like that's what it is, you know, like what it is.
They have their audience, they know what they're going for, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like I do think that it would be nice to have the ability to be more
if it came to
accessible
PC, I bet they would mod it. I bet someone would mod like
100%.
slider. Yeah.
100%.
Okay, so that's
As
4.
they should. That's 5.
Was that 5?
Yeah, because it was Baldur's Gate. I have a fucking list. It was legitimately
Baldur's
with
Gate,
like
Spyro.
honorable mentions.
Oh my god, I love it. Baldur's Gate, Spyro,
Baldur's Gate, Spyro,
Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5, Ocarina of Time, and
yes, Zelda. Okay, yeah.
Ocarina of Time.
No,
because of the innovation of the whole
exactly.
fucking gaming atmosphere.
This blended so well into that. I like forgot. I like totally forgot that
Yeah,
that was the separate.
and
Yeah,
that was the point. That's why I had to have Zelda
had to
before
save it.
Bloodborne.
I totally understand. I totally
Yeah,
understand.
progression.
That is fantastic list. Honestly, way more thought out than the knee jerk reaction of like, today I'm feeling this, but like I love it because
I can't have
that's
it.
the no, dude, it's why I love that question because it does bring this
Yeah.
out where people just like that passion pops off and you like start thinking about all the games you've played and games you want to play or why you started playing games and you just suddenly hear people go like, I don't know, like I feel like there was this game on the Sega that really got me into gaming and like or what it did for gaming or made me become a dev. Like people just get so like what was the thing that you picked up that made this possible? Because it's a whole point of the podcast is like people want to hear us talk and like do shit and like whatever, but it's like what do gamers talk about? Like it's not like this is a video game, you know, we talk about this, but it's like the things you're passionate about and the things that tend to revolve around gaming and like we've all been inspired by games no matter if you're not working in a tech thing or creative thing or like whatever. Like it's just there. And I feel like people it's a love letter to games and I just love it. It's one of my favorite questions.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like games at their core are a manner of entertainment through interactive storytelling and gameplay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It is a manner of looking at something in front of you, having the ability to morph and change the things around that world and being able to have that agency and be part of a story, be part of the world that's there. In that case, that's also why we talk so much about D&D because that's just as much gaming as video games
Look at that full circle, motherfucker. Let's go. Did you want to anything you want to plug? Where to follow you? Where to check you out? Anything?
Oh God, I'm in probably like the bar down the street, sitting in the corner with like a dark cloak over my head.
He's Aragorn in the corner, just you know, big long pipe.
Yeah, just brooding.
Yeah, just brooding.
No, I'm on Twitch, Hawkinaround there. I'm also on like YouTube and TikTok, which I want to put stuff there. I just haven't yet because I've got so many things that I'm doing, and brain is great sometimes. So fuck it. And also, I guess Twitter, like the Hawk. I hate that it's the Hawkinaround. I hate that shit so much.
I had to message Metal Mars when he posted the thing because literally my Twitter handle is Speaking Lions because Speaking Lion is taken by an inactive account that is not even a real account, and so I had to be like, literally, hi, it like has the wrong like it like and I hated it. Thank you so much for joining. This is so much fun. Could talk forever. Please let me know all of your ridiculous plans and you know we'll need to get you back in a campaign at some point to let you be a little Chaos Gremlin player and be a passenger princess or a pillow princess, however you want to call it, and it'll be great.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the campaign, I guess. You know, it's fun.
Depends on how strong they are.
Yeah. I love you. Thanks for this. I'm going to stop recording and let's go. Please. It's fine. Thank you for joining us this week on DLC Required. Hawkinaround, we'll be back to talk more, actually. Probably Cyberpunk. I don't know. It may be another D&D tangent. I probably have had new dice, but, you know, games and things and other ridiculous shit. But links in the description. We'll see you next week. Bye.